There's no time.
The time is
13
o'clock.
What's up, you guys? It's us, and it's episode 152.
Yeah.
Now, this is a really interesting topic that we're doing today. It's kind of a little bit different, I guess.
Yeah, but we do true crime.
We do true crime, and I guess this counts as true crime. And
People
there are
want to know
murders
about
involved.
gangsters.
Yeah.
The old classic mobsters.
Yeah.
Of the United States. So,
Yeah, specifically the Chicago outfit,
Right.
of which Al Capone was probably the best known member, the one that they made a lot of the movies about, Untouchables,
Yeah.
Goodfellas, all that kind of stuff. So we're not going to...
Goodfellas.
Well, Goodfellas was...
That was no.
Yeah,
that was modern times.
Yeah, that's true.
70s.
I mean, like I said, the Chicago outfit is still around, as far as I know, but we're kind of... I might go a little bit into that, but I kind of feel like probably we'll talk about the more famous stuff that happened, like in the early 20th century, St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
A lot of stuff was going on around this time, and some people they kind of confused them and put them all together. Like,
Yeah.
Organized mobsters were basically in the booze business. They had nothing to do with bank robbers and motorized bandits like Bonnie and Clyde. A lot of times people kind of think that there was a big crossover. Not really. 20s was a wild time. People lost confidence in the American system, and you had guys basically waging war against the banking system and entire police forces. It was just another time. You could do it back then. They didn't have the technology.
Well, they did do it. I mean, they got away with it for a long time. It's like a lot of these mobsters and stuff, I mean, if they didn't get fucking rubbed out by rival gangs or whatever, a lot of them didn't really serve any prison time or not very much prison time. Because jury intimidation, bribery, various other reasons.
Yeah, and charisma, too. The higher you got up in these old mobs, the more connections you had with politicians and police chiefs. You could grease palms, and the gangster of this day, they were providing a service that people wanted, which was booze. People didn't want prohibition. It wasn't popular, and even guys like Capone, they were kind of civilized in a certain way. They were tough, but you could invite Capone over to your house and have dinner with him. You could trust him around your children and your wife. You could deal with him. You couldn't say that, say like the Mexican mob or Colombian drug cartels. It's not necessarily like that, but you could do that back then, and they did that.
Yeah.
So they had good press, was what you'd call it today.
Well, and a lot of times, and I think Al Capone is like a, kind of a specific example of this too, whereas he made conscious effort to kind of burnish his image by, opening up soup kitchens or like giving to charities and, various things of that nature. Yeah,
and if you were law enforcement or you were a police chief, that was on the take, or you were a politician or a mayor, a senator even, you could deal with Capone. He would keep up his end of the bargain. They were, I guess you could say, they were honest criminals.
Yeah, in a way. Like, I do feel like, I mean, Al Capone's brief reign, I mean, he was kind of only the boss, really, for like 7 years or something like that.
Yeah, and how he ended wasn't all that great either.
And, I mean, his reign was the most violent because he did, like, provoke gang wars, whereas before there had been, like, various truces and whatnot.
Yeah. That didn't count, though, from what I'm talking about. That was soldier on soldier. That was gang on gang fighting over turf. Sometimes civilians got in the crossfire. But if you were negotiating with him, he would hold up his part of the bargain.
Yeah. Now, if you fucked him over, he'd have to kill, for sure.
Oh, yeah. You were taking your life.
As would pretty much any of them.
Most of your successful gangsters of this era kept up their part of the bargain.
Yeah.
If you screwed them over, they killed you. But that's just the way it was.
Yeah. In some ways, I guess it kind of kept him in line.
It kept everybody in line.
It didn't always succeed because people still fucked you over anyway. But...
Right. Well, gangsters fucked each other over.
That's what I meant. Yeah, that they did fuck each other over.
But they were mostly negotiating with people of authority and illegitimate people.
Yeah.
Like cops and politicians, and they were trying to be business partners with people. But the culture of the time, I read a lot of books on it. You could invite these guys over to your house.
Yeah.
If you were a cop, and you could accept a bribe from them, and you could party and have a good time. They were popular guys. And it was kind of prestigious to have them around.
Yeah, and like I said, they were, in a way, they kind of had like sort of a popular image. Still do, really. I mean, their image, even though, they were killers and stuff like that, they're kind of romanticized, I feel like, in a lot of movies and stuff like that.
Right. Well, it was kind of an ancient Roman mentality, where a man was judged, his virtues were judged accordingly. A real man was good to his friends and his family and defended his people, that's what he did. But he also punished ruthlessly his enemies. You had to do both.
Yeah. They
wielded, the carrot and the stick. They would apply good and evil on you. That's how they got, that was for them virtue.
Yeah.
The Romans were like that, and so were these gangsters.
Yeah, well, and the ones we're talking about are mostly Italian.
Yeah.
The Chicago outfit...
So it goes to that time.
The Chicago outfit did have some other, unusually for the time, it did have some other ethnicities involved. There were a couple of Polish Jews in there. There was actually a Japanese-American guy, Tokyo Joe. So they had like a couple, there wasn't, all Italian-Americans. Mostly Italian-Americans, but like I said...
And Irish, something...
Well, and Irish was their, like, the rival gang. That was, like, the North Side gang.
Yeah, they were about a similar mentality.
Yeah.
Although I'd probably say that the Italians were around longer because it took them longer to integrate. The Irish could kind of change their name, and as long as they didn't have an accent, they could pretend to be an Anglo-American, and they could marry in and go straight quick, basically.
Yeah, because they still
they'd go honest.
English.
Yeah, right. The Italians, it took them a couple extra decades to kind of make the transition.
Yeah. So let's do a couple of shout-outs. And like I said, I actually appreciate... I can't remember who it was because it was a while back, and I just wrote it on my list, and then it just kind of came up this week. But whoever recommended this topic, because I probably wouldn't have thought to do it, but once I started looking, I'm like, yeah, that'd be actually a really good show, because it's like kind of interesting, and I was always been kind of into this kind of shit. So, so thanks to whoever recommended it, however long ago it was.
Yeah.
So let's do a couple of shout-outs. Now, for our $20 and up patrons, as I said, all of the t-shirts have been sent out.
Yeah, we had a problem with the shit.
Now, some of you that might get this, I don't think it's that many, but a couple of you that get them, they might have postage due on them.
Yeah, about $1 or so.
What ended up happening was that we sent all of them out in one day.
In padded envelopes.
Yeah, in like 8x10 padded envelopes.
Yeah.
And we sent them all out, and we thought everything was fine. Like, I just used the the self-serve postal machine
for robot,
for all the domestic ones, and then I went inside because I had a few that had to go overseas.
Yeah, international won't be any problem.
Yeah, they went totally fine.
Ireland's gonna be fine.
They did that. But so I did all those, and then the very next day, like half of them, or maybe a little more than half of them, were returned. And we couldn't figure out why. We're like, why did we get these back? Like, it said that it wasn't, you know what I mean? So we took them back to the post office, and they were like, oh, that's because...
You mailed them as envelopes.
You mailed them as envelopes, and you should have mailed them as packages.
Right.
Even though it was an envelope, but it's a padded envelope.
So they sent half of them, but then the other half they sent back to us.
Yeah.
So we had to remail them as packages, which, cost us an extra about like $2 or $3 per unit.
Yeah.
So... The other half they sent.
As far as I know.
Yeah, I said, what happened? And they never came back, and they said they probably sent them with postage due.
And I was like, well, shit.
So you may either get a notification from the post office that you got to go to the post office and pay $2 to get your shirt, or they might just say, fuck it, and maybe they sent half of them directly to you, and they sent half back to us to let us know not to do that again. That could happen. That could happen.
True.
Because
like, seriously, I had no idea at first, why they all came back. I was like, what the fuck? I do this all the time.
Ones that came back to us, we had to pay postage again on them.
Yeah.
So, and that was equal to what the stuff that they sent, so maybe they figured it washed.
Yeah, maybe.
Because they sent half of them back to us. It was exactly half.
Yeah, that did seem a
so
little
maybe
weird.
maybe they were trying to negotiate with us.
I guess.
That's probably what
happened. It was just very strange.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know. They'll probably show up to you.
Yeah. But they have all been sent out now.
Yeah. If you get a notification that there's something at the post office for you, that's what it is. It's that T-shirt.
Yeah. So don't be weirded out. It's not.
Yeah, they're gonna want a couple bucks.
It's nothing scary or nothing like that. Yeah, it would only be like maybe $2 or $3 at most. All right. So so we got that out of the way. We're also going to do. I also designed a new logo shirt.
It looks badass. It's much better than the other one.
Yeah.
The other one we had was cool. This one's even better. Me and Jenny on it. It's bigger.
Yeah.
Our faces are bigger. It's different pictures.
I use different pictures.
Yeah,
with
looks
bigger
cool.
faces on it.
Yeah.
So we'll probably send those out next time. And like I said,
we look like vampires in that shit too.
I did find some good footage. It's hard to like find photos that are gonna work good on like on single color screen print. You know, they have to be like really striking and like cool. Able to be posterized. But this one came out good. But we're gonna. I burned this. I did the screen the transparency. Yeah. So we still have to burn the screen to like.
So next quarter, you guys will get those.
Yeah, and we, like I said,
I'll sell them online.
Yeah, eventually we're gonna set up a store to sell them online too. Because somebody was asking me about that. I said we do have a Zazzle store.
Yeah.
That has like a whole bunch of different shirts on it. But the ones that we screen print, we're eventually going to set up a store to do that. We just haven't got around to doing it. I think
they'll be a bit cheaper. If not, I can definitely say that the longevity of these shirts is going to be a lot better.
Yeah. They might be a little bit cheaper too, because Zazzle's slightly expensive. We'll see. I think. All right, so that's all that taken care of. Also, I want to thank our pal Melanie, who sent us another PayPal donation. Yeah. So thank you very much. Thanks, you should be getting your shirt very soon, too. We sent her a shirt as well. Okay. And we also had a new PayPal donation from Lindsay and Todd. So hi, you guys, and thanks very much for your first very generous PayPal donation. They're always very much appreciated.
Yeah.
Also, Tom got a really cool birthday present.
Yeah, which one?
The poster.
Oh, yeah. I already talked about that.
No.
I thought I talked about that already.
No.
Okay, yeah, because I got a lot of birthday presents. Our friend Sophie, the one that came and visited us, she sent me a pretty cool poster. Damn gigantic, of The Thing, and it's a painting of it.
It's badass.
Yeah, it's not from the movie. I mean, it's from the movie, but it wasn't from that era. It's a modern paint. We'll slide in a photo of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got Crussell and Keith in there. Keith David.
Yeah.
All the guys from The Thing. God, I think Crussell had his flashlight. It's either flashlight or flamethrower. I don't remember. But it's pretty cool. It's all kind of purple.
It is very cool.
Yeah, it's a newer poster of it. It's really neat.
Yeah, so that's our
It's got all the guys standing around a burned up body with the fucking shadow. You know, remember when they burned up the alien body? Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But yeah, she is a friend of the show, also a patron, and she came and visited us last, when was it? A couple months ago now, I guess. Yeah. And she sent...
Taught her how to make that curry. She's trying to make curry.
Yeah.
Fucking up rice. She doesn't know how to cook rice. She's figured it out.
A lot of people have trouble with rice, I've noticed.
Yeah. You take rice... Soak rice if in most of your like jasmine rice or basmati rice.
Yeah, you want to soak it.
Okay, soak it for a few minutes. All right, and then rinse it off in like a wire mesh strainer. Get everything off of it. Throw that in a pan or pot. Actually, for every cup of that soaked rice, it's a cup and a half of water. Put a cup and a half of water in there. Cover it. Turn it on full blast. As soon as it starts boiling over. Just take it off the fire and set it aside. 20 minutes later, it'll be done. Keep it covered. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, it always comes out perfect every time.
It's always that exact same method.
We usually make 2 cups of rice at a time. You put 2 cups of rice in like a big pan like that. 3 cups of water.
After it's washed and soaked, and then it's 3 cups of water.
Yeah.
Bring it to a boil covered. Just take it off and set it aside. 20 minutes later, it's done.
And it always comes out exactly right.
Yeah, I used to toast it and everything. You could also take like basmati, take the rice grains, wash them off, throw that into a pan with searing hot oil that's in there and toast it.
Yeah.
And then throw the water in there and cover it. Do the same thing. It's nice.
Oh yeah. And you've done it before too with like all different spices in there. So it's like cinnamon
we're
sticks.
We're probably do a food show.
That's another thing I wanted to mention too. This is something we've been discussing.
Yeah.
We're still going to do all our other shows. We're still going to do the matinee show. If you've noticed, like the last couple weeks, we've only seen 2 movies just because it didn't work out with the slots and there was a holiday and stuff. But we're still going to do the matinee show and everything like that because that's like pretty easy for us to do. But we've also been thinking, because we go off on so many like food related tangents.
Yeah, we got some fucking funny ass stories.
And
about
this is
food.
something that, you know, we're really into because Tom, you know, cooks a lot, and you know, we're both kind of interested in like food history and like retro food and stuff.
Yeah, I was a professional cook, you know, before Army, and then off and on, you know what I mean, when I had to, I'd go back into the kitchen. Yeah. You know, for a few months until another job came along. But, you know, it's not man, fucking working in a kitchen's hell. But I do love to cook. Yeah. And I got a lot of stories about food and food history. And we can do some fucking funny shows about that. Well, yeah. There's some weird food out there.
We've got all kind of, like, stories about... Yeah. Like, you know, we've kind of gone into a little bit on the show about, like, Little Debbie's. We were thinking about it the other day because we were talking about this fucking weird-ass, like, Lance
crackers.
Crackers, like, they're, like, cheese crackers.
Cheese crackers
like,
with peanut butter.
In the middle. Or are they like toast cheese or whatever the fuck they're called?
There's a story behind all that.
And so we're like, why do they still make those? So we were like talking about that the other day, and we were talking about like captain's wafers and stuff. And he was like, you know, we should do a whole other show about just like food history and just like...
the companies that made it and
the companies that make it and, you know.
How that happened, what years we're talking about, who owns those companies now, you know, that kind of stuff.
Because I find that kind of shit fascinating. Like, I am fascinated by food history.
How it was marketed.
Restaurant history. All
also,
that kind of
trends in food that came in with like shit like aspic.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck were they thinking? Just all kinds of...
aspic. What the fuck were they thinking?
What the fuck? That shit would have been...
That's going to be one title of one show.
Yeah. Fuck, man. They just did stupid shit.
Yeah, and like why everything in, you know, the 50s to the 70s had like fucking olives and pimentos in it. Yeah. Cottage cheese and whatever the fuck else they put in there.
Yeah, why was the food so limited? Why, you know what I mean? Okay, I got some old cookbooks back there that came from my grandmother.
I know, they're great.
All right, they were like printed like in the late 30s, and spaghetti's under foreign food. Yeah. Yeah.
That cracks me up.
And in that sauce recipe that they're talking about is only like 3 seasonings: salt, pepper, sugar, and oregano. That's it. Ooh. Yeah. Oregano.
Scandalous.
Yeah, and they had to explain to you what oregano is. In there. Yeah, there's a thing called oregano. You can find it in specialty places.
And everybody's like, I don't want any of that weird foreign Italian. Yeah. That Italian food like they used to say back in the old days. Yeah, and it was
just tomato paste and water. And there may have been garlic in it.
That's like some sub-SpaghettiOs shit right there.
Yeah, bad. Like, that was like, Franco-American spaghetti.
I would rather have Chef Boyardee, honestly. That probably tastes better than some of the shit they used to make.
That's what they were talking about, Chef Boyardee.
I don't get it. But yeah, so we've actually been... I'm not sure, like, when this will happen, but I'm kind of excited about doing this because, like I said, this is something that I find really interesting. I subscribe to, like, a bunch of blogs, like Mid-Century Menu and all that kind of stuff. I love that. Because she, like, makes recipes, like, from old cookbooks back then. And, so we're thinking about doing another... I don't know what we're going to call it yet. Like, fucked up food or something.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of old candies that are around that have weird stories behind them. Soft drinks, you know, there's just...
That's what I mean. It's just like an endless font
of... an endless supply of conversational material in the food industry.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like
and
maybe
restaurants that have
in the future we will probably be adding... We might not do it every week just because, you know, it'd be like too much work, but we might do like one every 2 weeks or one a month.
And, you know, it's going to be... We'll be talking about good food, and then we're also going to be ragging on food, too.
Like scary, frightening.
Yeah, old restaurants we remembered as kids. Like, I imagine most of you bitches aren't even young enough to have ever eaten in a Sambo's. I remember Sambo's
from... Yeah. I went to Tennessee when I was 4 years old to visit relatives. Yeah. There was a Sambo's there. And I was like, it's called Sambo's?
Used to love them. And out in California. They were kind of like Denny's.
Yeah, it was similar to that.
But it was like old Denny's. It's not like the Denny's you have now. And they had all these damn... not really paintings. They were kind of like mosaics on the walls made out of that damn... What's that fucking crazy ass plastic they used to have in the 60s? Yeah, it's all shiny. What they call
not
it?
Not Bakelite, but...
No, it's not Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Lucite.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, all this lucite stuff, and they were little images of the story from Sambo. And the tigers chasing him around.
Little Black Sambo. In case you guys
don't know, Little Black Sambo.
Oh, man. It's so bad.
Yeah, and most of the
it's just cringe-inducing.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking cringy, but it didn't seem cringy at the time.
Well, no, we didn't know any better.
And Sambo, he had a turban on his head. You know, he wasn't African. He was Indian.
Yeah.
From India. And,
oh my God, like Haji from Johnny Quest.
Yeah, it's like the little black Sambo.
You remember that?
He's just like Haji from and yeah. But then I remember it got progressive. They turned all the Sambos white. I was old enough to remember that.
Okay, I don't remember that.
Yeah, they started off dark brown. I remembered them like that.
And then by
the time I was about 9 or 10, I noticed that they were all white. And I was like, what happened to all the brown ones?
Whoa, shit.
Yeah. You know, the adults are just kind of letting it slide. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about Little Black Sambo. It's fucking funny.
Well, the only time I had never seen, I don't know if we had any of them in Florida. Like, I was pretty little, but I remember distinctly we went on a road trip to Tennessee when I was 4 to visit my great grandmother, and they took us to a Sambo's there, and I had never heard of it before.
It was good, man. Everything had MSG.
They might have had some in Florida, but maybe not where I lived.
Everything had MSG in it, so the flavors were just through the roof. I remember it being really flavorful.
Yeah.
You know, fucking pigs in a blanket. And there's like little. No, they weren't pigs in a blanket. They were like rolled up sausage wieners. Those little sausages they used to have.
You said wieners.
Yeah, like a little wiener. You know, like that. They're like sausages, like
the way you said it was just.
I don't know anything about wieners. I only have cocks. I got a fucking cock. That's just like that. All right, there's no wiener. All right. I don't know anything about wieners. That's what they just told me. Okay. They look like them little damn. They look like a Vienna sausage, but they were American sausages. And they'd roll them up inside of a pancake and pour syrup all over them. I think there was eggs too when I was a kid, and I think they called it pigs in a blanket. I think that's what they called it. I have to go back. Those old menus still exist. I'll look them up. I'll remember it.
Yeah, like I said, look online for some of that shit.
Yeah, Hobo Joe's. Remember that one?
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to go to that one too in California. Every restaurant was filled with fucking statues of bums.
Yeah, what was that all about?
And it was a railroad theme about bums on the railroad.
Like hobos.
And hobos. They're fucking crazy.
Like the romanticism
they had some
of
shit
hobo
there.
culture.
I used to love it as a kid. They would fucking eat these things called prairie dog drumsticks.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And guess what prairie dog drumsticks were?
What?
They were fucking wings. Buffalo wings.
Oh, okay.
But it was like the prototype of that.
Yeah, they didn't have a cool name.
They didn't have a cool name.
They didn't understand.
They were
marketing
fried. They were fried, but they weren't thrown in sauce.
The sauce.
Normally, you just fry a piece of chicken and you make a 50-50 mix of melted butter and Tabasco sauce and toss it in that. And that's your Buffalo Wild Wing. Well, they weren't tossing it in anything. It was just fried. And then they gave you blue cheese dressing. Or ranch. Either blue cheese or ranch. I think it might have been blue cheese.
And celery sticks?
And celery sticks, I think that's what was in it. And French fries.
So similar to the...
And French fries, yeah.
So pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah, prairie dog drumsticks.
But they just called them.
And every meal was named after something a bum would eat. It was fucking nuts, man.
Like
that restaurant was fucking nuts. Okay, this is why that show... that's going to be a teaser for this series. This is why this show would be really good.
We need to get around to doing that now because it's like...
I will tell you fucking stories of shit that happened, shit that went down inside these restaurants when I was a little kid.
And so many like weird ass, and you were like telling me about Kelbo's and all this.
Kelbo's in California, yeah.
That was like a tiki Polynesian type.
Fucking that was a bizarre place, man. And then there was had shit hanging from the ceilings and dried bullfish and fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwiches mashed in between the loose side of the glasses and glass windows and weird ass fucking shit. It was like teak. Drunks made it, I guess. It was awesome. Fiddler's 3? I don't know
really
if that's
good
still
drugs
around
back
anymore.
then.
Okay, we got to get back on the show.
Yeah,
I remember old school taco, old school Del Taco. The Del Taco that you know, the one that's around here that we had.
Yeah, we had 2 of them around here.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
the original wasn't like that.
Yeah,
the original was from California, and it was like worse than Taco Bell. But I remember the original.
Wow, that's saying something.
Yeah, it was worse than Taco Bell.
I like Del Taco.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, the new Del Taco.
I mean, the one we have around here, it's like really kind of
Jack in the Box.
It's out of our way.
Jack in the Box. I used to run into a little rowdy.
That's still around, right?
Yeah, I used to run around. When I was in California, my mom used to take me down to the Pike. I ran into Rodney Allen Rigby, who was his parents owned Jack in the Box. Yeah, I thought, for the life of me, I thought Rodney Allen Rigby was one of the Jackson 5s for a long time. Because I grew up as a little kid loving the Jackson 5 and seeing Michael Jackson when he was, he was only a little bit older than me. He must have been 5 or 6 when he was dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to fucking sing Michael Jackson songs, when he was with Jackson 5, and I was a little kid. And then I saw Rodney Allen Rigby, and he was on all the Jack in the Box commercials, and he was a little black kid. So I thought that Rodney Allen Rigby was one of the Jackson 5s. And when I saw him, because I ran into him at the Pike, and his mom was there, and my mom were talking, and I'm just jacked that there's fucking Rodney Allen Rigby. And I thought, I was thinking to myself, where's Michael? Where's Michael Jackson?
Can I get his autograph?
Yeah, I'm like 6 or 7. Where's Michael Jackson? Yeah.
And he was like, fuck you, white kid.
Yeah. No,
I'm just teasing.
Well, they all had, they looked alike back then when they were kids. They had the same hair and everything, and they play on television right on the same day, so they had to know each other. When you're a little kid, you know what I mean?
All the people on TV, they all
they all know each other. Yeah, they're all inside the TV.
All hanging out.
They're all hanging out.
TV
Yeah. I'd see commercials for Jack in the Box, right alongside, the Jackson 5, making an appearance on, on some show during TV. So I thought, they all were,
they were all hanging out like in between.
Yeah,
I can see
that they're all in the Jackson 5.
Everybody's in the Jackson 5.
There's like 20 of them. They're all in the Jackson 5.
The Jackson 500.
Yeah.
All right, so so maybe we'll be doing that show at some point in the future.
Just Google Rodney Allen Rigby.
There was a whole episode there.
Just go on YouTube. Just go on YouTube and go Jack in the Box, Rodney Allen Rigby, and look at those commercials. And he's in those commercials talking. And if you're a little kid, you would think that he was also in the Jackson 5.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to talk about gangsters?
Okay.
All right. So specifically, like I said, it would be like, it would take forever, like, to talk about like the entire American mafia and all the other gangsters and stuff like that. So we just wanted to concentrate mostly on the Chicago outfit and Al Capone, like during Prohibition and all that kind of stuff. So we'll kind of go into that. I'm going to go a little bit into the history of the Chicago outfit, where it came from, and all this other kind of stuff.
All right.
All right. So let's kind of go back to the beginning. All right, so the Chicago outfit, that city's branch of the American Mafia. Now, the way it's organized today, as I said, it's still around in a much less, flashy kind of state than it used to be back in its heyday. But its kind of heyday, as I said, was sort of during the beer wars of Prohibition and during the reign of Al Capone, which was actually, pretty brief. Now, along with the very famous 5 families of New York City, the 5 big crime families, the Chicago outfit also has a seat on what they call the Commission governing the Italian mob in the United States. Now, this kind of goes back to the early 1900s. So there's a very large influx of Italian immigrants into the Chicago area. Now, there are a lot of them were like street gangs, a lot of them were like little kids and stuff. Now, there were also not necessarily organized, but there were things that were called black hand schemes. Now, I think later on in the media, they kind of made it seem like these were, organized crime contingents, but that's not necessarily what Black Hand was. Black Hand was more like a method than an organization. It kind of originated in Italy, like even back in the 1700s, I think they had this kind of shit. Mm-hmm. It's basically an extortion racket. What you would do is you would write a letter to somebody with money that you wanted, and you would threaten them, like you'd threaten to kidnap them or kill them or burn their shit down or whatever. And then what they would do is they would like draw like a little black hand on it, or like a little noose, or like a skull and crossbones or some shit like that. And you would send them a letter and say, hey, I'm going to murder you unless you send me $5,000, $15,000, whatever it is. So eventually this kind of scheme, which was usually independent contractors, it wasn't usually dudes that were like organized in any kind of logical, or any kind of big sense. So, that there was a lot of that going on, and then that eventually came to be termed Black Hand, because that was like a lot of the iconography that would show up on the letters. So this kind of shit was going on. But then right around like the 1920s, there was this guy named Giacomo Colosimo, otherwise known as Big Jim. And he was actually a brothel owner in Chicago. He had like a shit ton of brothels that he was running. And what he had done was kind of like coalesced like a lot of the criminal activities that were going in the area, including a lot of these kind of independent black hand kind of operators. And so he kind of like got everybody together into a more organized kind of setup, like more like an organization. Now, into this, organization, he introduces his nephew, whose name is Giovanni Papa Johnny Torrio. One thing I love about gangsters, and I think this is probably one of the reasons that a lot of people still like them, is their adorable nicknames. Some of them have stupid ones, but some of them have really, really good ones.
It's mostly just a way of remembering somebody.
Yeah, that's...
Some kind of distinguishing feature.
Yeah, I mean, Al Capone, very famously known as Scarface.
Yeah.
Because he had a scar on his face, which I'll explain how he got that soon. But, so Papa Johnny Torrio comes onto the scene, who was the nephew of Big Jim Colosimo. Now, 1919, Torrio was the guy that brought Al Capone into the fold. And Al Capone, I believe, was only about 19 at the time. So let's talk a little bit about Al Capone, since we're on that topic. I feel like you want to say something. You know about Al Capone?
Yeah. Distinguishing feature of Al Capone at this age is that he was big.
He was.
Yeah,
he was a very round individual.
Yeah. And he could intimidate people. And he was pretty good with his fists. Now, that's really how he came up from nothing. And he was ruthless.
Yeah.
And he wasn't dumb. He was a smart guy.
Yeah.
That's really, when you're talking about a very low income area, that's what it takes to make
yeah.
it. So, he had a good pedigree for his time to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. This doesn't come out of the middle class or the upper class. They don't have a need for this.
Well, no,
they just go to school
because they have prospects.
They have prospects. If you don't have any prospects, then you gotta, your genetic.
You gotta find other ways.
Yeah, there's other ways. You know what I mean? And there's a genetic component. There really is.
That's interesting that you should say that, because now Al Capone was actually a first-generation American. His parents were immigrants from Salerno. And his parents were actually rather respectable. His dad was a barber. His mom was a seamstress. All of their children had very normal upbringings. However, I think pretty much all of them, except for the girls, and the one that died in infancy, turned out criminals.
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of just probably a function just of the environment, like you said, because it wasn't really... There was so much gang shit going on. There was so much criminal activity going on. It was easy way to make money. It
was faster, too.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of these people from these neighborhoods, died. Okay?
Yeah.
And they died of poverty, really, if you look into it. They were working hard jobs. They got killed on a job. They got sick, really couldn't afford to give themselves the proper treatment. They lived hard lives maybe because they couldn't afford, the proper heating during the winter. Eating bad food. It's just your chances of survival long term in the lower socioeconomic levels back in that era, your prospects weren't very good. So in a way, guys like Capone, dudes that were doing that were in a way kind of like fighting for their lives. They're trying to fast track.
Yeah. It was an understandable.
Right.
I mean, because for them, from their point of view, it was probably like a logical
direction
to go
in. You either
in.
sit here and fucking just fade away in obscurity,
yeah.
or you can fight and try to make something out of yourself. They really didn't have it within their means to do it like the appropriate way, or the middle class way.
Yeah.
So they did it this way. Now, this goes back into their psychology, and you're going to see this over and over again in their theme. The main thing they want is fucking societal approval.
Yeah.
They want status. They want to be.
Oh yeah, Al Capone in particular.
Yeah, they want to be respectable. They want to be known. They want to be accepted. They want to wear expensive stuff. They're really kind of peacock guys in a way.
Oh yeah, that definitely describes Al Capone.
And going back to that, the Italians were special when it came to this because, like I said, it was just kind of in them genetically, going back and culturally, going back to the ancient Roman times, where I said a man was judged by how well he defended his family and his friends, and how ruthless he was to his enemies. If they weren't fighting enemies and destroying enemies, then they weren't doing their job. That was kind of they were a full spectrum kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's kind of an honor-bound culture in that sense. So you can see how it translated when they came to this country.
This didn't mix too well with Anglo-America. You know, the Anglo-Germanic side of our society is kind of a legal-based system. You know what I'm talking about? Where there were courts and there were laws, you know. They weren't into this vendetta stuff.
Yeah.
That's the way ancient Rome was, though. A lot of vendetta, you know. If you looked at what ancient Roman law was, it was mob rules in a way and bribery, you know. So it was a cultural conflict, I guess you could say, in a certain way.
That's a good way of putting it.
You know.
A very diplomatic way of putting it.
And there are strengths and weaknesses to both sides. You know. Yeah. What these guys are doing is not legal, but in a way, when you look at it situationally, you know, I kind of have this problem with kind of admiring their...
I think a lot of people do. I think there's like, even though, I mean, from one point of view, obviously, these were not nice guys. They would, if you fucked them over, or they perceived that you fucked them over, then they would just shoot you in the face and not even like feel bad about it. They bombed places and killed innocent people without feeling bad about it again, just to get back at rivals or whatever, or to get what they wanted. So these were not good guys.
They considered themselves a cross between like cops, judges, and soldiers, and businessmen. They were all they were judge, jury, and executioner. They were everything just all wrapped up into one.
Yeah.
You know.
They're basically just like taking everything into their own hands.
Yeah, it's... Like I said, in another era, I can kind of understand how that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But you have to have a civilization basically that's kind of run by rules and law and order. That kind of works out, I think, better for everybody.
In the long run, it does, yeah. I mean, this kind of shit probably works out better in the short run. For a small amount of people.
In a local area.
In a small area.
In a local area. It's not big thinking, it really.
It's really not, no.
Yeah.
It is very kind of like...
But it was another era. This is the 20s. A lot of what they were doing back then, you just couldn't do it today. Computers would get you. Cameras, stuff like that.
Well, yeah, and like I said, even though the Chicago outfit, as far as I know, does still exist today, I mean, they've had like a lot of... law enforcement has kind of infiltrated the gangs and everything, and they don't have like the sway that they used to have. I mean, back in the old days, they used to fucking run the police force. Well, like half the police force was on Capone's payroll. At least that's what he claimed.
Another problem is that this type of gangster needed prohibition to flourish. They were selling liquor.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted liquor.
I mean, they had other shit too.
But they were kind of like Robin Hoods.
Yeah.
It was liquor and women.
Yeah.
The guys the people of that era wanted to drink, and they were told not to by the law. That wasn't popular. And some of these married women wanted to run with these young prostitutes. And they wanted that. And the mob was giving it to them. So they kind of had a Robin Hood kind of aura to them.
Like they were giving the common people
They were giving the common what they wanted.
Yeah.
Now, when they'd go to war with each other and casualties would happen, and it was bad, but they would kind of spin that in the media to kind of bolster their image of power.
Yeah.
You know, oh yeah, I'm a nice guy, and I'll kill you. Don't fuck with me. You want to be my friend. You don't want to be my enemy. Look at where my enemies are. They're dead. Look what my friends are. They're making money and happy. Come play with us. Come join the team. That's the way they were.
Booze and hookers.
And you do
cocaine.
You help me and I help you, and you come up against that. I will bury you. You know, that's it's my language. I understand it. That's the way the armies run. Really, it's just.
It is, like I said, it is very similar, and you can see why it's still romanticized to this day, even. Yeah. In a way that, like, modern gang culture is not romanticized.
As far as we know. Maybe in other countries.
Yeah.
At the top levels. You know, some of this bad stuff that happens is at the very low level of those organizations, or it's unorganized crime, you know?
Yeah.
So, but it's not worth it. It's not worth messing with these dudes.
Well, no.
I think if you look at what's happening nowadays, a lot of the real criminal stuff is happening way up high with amongst rich guys. And that was another thing, is that these guys really, if you step back and looked at them, they weren't that rich. They had power, they had stuff, but they were nowhere as rich as, say, some of these guys in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So...
Well, Capone, under Capone's leadership, it was making like a few mil a year, like even back in the 20s.
That was a lot back then.
Which was a lot of money back then.
But that's...
About a mid-sized corporation size.
Yeah, and think of the risks.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah.
The rewards were great.
You were just
but
constantly getting shot at,
right,
pretty much. A lot of... It's funny, if you look at the Wikipedia page for the Chicago outfit, it has like a little chart at the bottom of like all the capos and like all the bosses and stuff, and how many of them were murdered.
Yeah.
It was most of them, spoiler alert.
Yeah, that was a problem. That was the problem between these Italian mafias. And the same with the Irish. The Irish were working with them. They got into too many bitch fights with each other over stuff.
Well, like I said, it's always been my opinion that dudes are huge bitches.
Yeah,
and they are just always having, like, if they don't have a beef with another dude, they will invent a beef with another dude just so they can have something to fight about.
Yeah.
And that was definitely the case here. But so let me talk about, because I talked a little bit about, the very ancient history. So Al Capone is kind of brought to Chicago when he was 19 years old. Now, prior to that, Al Capone was actually not a native of Chicago. He was actually born in Brooklyn, New York. As I said, he was a first-generation American. His parents were... Now, I've read Salerno, Naples. Is that even in the same area? I don't even know. But I've read, like, two different things.
Everything in Italy is in the same area, by American standards.
Well, yeah. You guys are smaller than Florida. Or about the same size. I don't know, they're about the same size as Florida. Now, Al Capone, he was actually the fourth of 9 children. He went to school until he was 14, when he was expelled after punching a female teacher in the face.
She deserved it.
Well, I'm sure that's what he thought. So after that, he just said, fuck school. And he didn't... Like I said, he seemed like a very intelligent guy, but, authority... was kind of a problem for him, clearly.
He was intelligent. You couldn't get to his position in these kind of organizations by
being intelligent. And I think everyone has said that he was actually a very savvy businessman, and a very ruthless businessman. Like, if you were just in his way, he would just, like, it's like, hey, can you bump this guy off? Thanks. Yeah, so he gets out of school, but he, actually he tried to kind of have a respectable life. He had, some normal jobs. Like, he worked in a candy store. He worked in a bowling alley, as a pin boy. He worked in a munitions plant, and he worked in a bookbindery, stuff like that. But while he was having regular jobs, he was also hanging out with these quote-unquote kid gangs, like the 40 Thieves Juniors, the Brooklyn Rippers, South Brooklyn Rippers, just these little kids, that would go around whatever they were doing, like kid gang stuff. They're shaking
cutting
down
women's purses off.
Yeah, stealing and breaking and entering and whatnot. Vandalism, petty crime, all that kind of stuff. And like I said, this is in New York. Now, at this stage, when he was a teenager, he kind of gets acquainted with Johnny Torrio, who I mentioned before, who was in the James Street Boys gang. And this was the guy that would kind of become his gangster mentor, I guess you could say. When Al Capone was 16, he gets in with the 5 Points gang. And he also makes the acquaintance of this other gangster named Frankie Yale, who would kind of be important later on. Now, Frankie Yale was a bartender at this saloon/brothel called the Harvard Inn. Now, when Al Capone was young, I believe he was only about 21 years old, he was at the Harvard Inn, and he made a crude comment to this girl that was there. I believe it was something about her ass.
Okay.
And her brother came and slashed his face, which is where the scar came from. Hence his nickname, Scarface. Now, this was, even though the nickname nowadays sounds super badass, and there was even that whole Al Pacino movie with the mountains of cocaine and all that kind of stuff, but Al Capone hated that nickname.
A lot of these guys hated their name.
He hated that name.
George Nelson hated being called Babyface.
Well, I can see, yeah.
Right.
It's you know what I mean? It's like you want to be like tough and everything, and everybody's calling you like Fluffy Snuffles or something like that. It's like that's gotta suck, right? You want a badass sounding name.
In a way, they were kind of complimenting Nelson though. He looked young.
Well, that's yeah.
He kind of had a baby face, and he didn't have he didn't have facial hair and stuff, and so.
But this actually kind of cracked me up.
Nelson was a bank robber, in case you guys don't know.
Yeah,
he was an organized bank robber. He hated cops. He actually waged war against them cops. And we could do
a whole show on that.
Yeah, and you could do it back then because cop cars didn't have radios in them. That was the main thing. A cop car without a radio is useless. It's just damn useless.
Well, yeah, because you could kill that cop and who would ever know?
Yeah, and they couldn't support one another to call one another during a chase to
call for backup or whatever.
Oh man, the cat's getting ready to walk. Okay.
She was trying to back over the book.
And another thing is that the way the United States worked back then, you could commit a crime in one state, and if you hopped across, the cat is moving it down. You crazy? She's like, what? She's like, I need room. She's trying to lay down. The way the interstate crime laws worked back then, you could commit a crime in one state, cross the border, and the other state couldn't do anything to you.
Yeah.
So what you did
I've written about so many murders like that. Like people like raped and murdered like 50 women in one state, and then it's like, hey, I'm just gonna like move over the state line, boop, and then there's like
you're out of jurisdiction, and then
nobody ever caught them.
And then they had these. They didn't have interdiction. They didn't have extradition compacts between the states. No, it was insane. So that gave rise to what was called motorized bandits. And that was like Bonnie and Clyde and some of the other guys, that did this. They drove around in cars, robbing banks and robbing people and killing cops and doing weird shit like wiping out a police station and then going to rob the bank. And they did it from car, and then they jump across.
Oh, see, now there's some ahead right there.
Yeah.
It's like, first, let's blow up the police
And they were
station,
badasses. They trained.
And then we'll go rob the bank,
yeah.
and no one will be around to do anything about it.
And they would do things like train with weapons and they'd buy BARs and cut them down and have highly modified, really good weaponry that was decades ahead of what other people had. They're trying to make assault rifles, stuff like that, And they would just go, okay, we're going to rob this bank over here in this town, but let's go wipe out the police department first, and then we'll go over there. Yeah. And then we'll just walk in there and get like 3 people would do it. And they'd just kill 5 people in the damn police station and then just go across the street and rob a bank and get all the money. And then they just drive to,
because no one stopped them.
Yeah, and then just drive 20, 30 miles and cross the state lines, and they couldn't touch them.
Yeah. I do kind of wonder, like...
Yeah, and there were no radios, so they couldn't call ahead.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, there were radios, but there weren't any radios in the cars.
Yeah. That was some high-tech shit back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I was saying, even though you would think nowadays that Scarface is a pretty badass nickname to have, he really did not like that name. And this kind of cracks me up. Okay, so even though he got the scar, like I said, from some dude being like, hey, don't talk about my sister's ass like that, and slashing him in the face, he told everybody that he got it in the war. Because he was
never a soldier.
Super insecure about it. And he would also, like, whenever they photographed him, he would always, like, try to show, like, the side of his face without it.
Yeah.
Now, ironically, one nickname that he did get that he did like was his friends would call him Snorky.
So he liked that name?
That's what I thought. That isn't that weird? But it's like, that actually means, he was a snappy dresser. Because he was, like, super into, like you said, like, kind of a peacock type of thing.
Yeah.
And he always had, like, kind of expensive suits and, fancy underwear made out of, like, Italian silk and all this other kind of shit.
Yeah, and...
so, Snorky.
And evidently, based on what, just from memory, Al Capone was very good to women. Women liked him. And,
well, his wife seemed to, like, be into him.
Yeah.
I mean, she...
He evidently was...
remained happily... Now, he cheated on her and he got syphilis from hookers and stuff.
Yeah.
But...
Well, he had been doing that for a long time.
Yeah, he never stopped doing that.
Right. Well, he kind of grew up around those kind of women and he had a thing for them. But, evidently women that had dated him said that he was just a good guy. That, and he didn't, like, throw gangster weight around on them. He was trying to escape that world when he was with women. He didn't
well, and I
on.
actually saw, I was watching a documentary about him today, and the documentary was quite old, so there were some people that, there were some older people on there that actually had known him or hung out in bars where he hung out. And they said he was a super popular, he was a big tipper, and he was like super nice to all the, women that worked in these brothels and guys that worked in the bars and stuff. So they always liked when he came in because he was always, he'd like give everybody money and he was like super nice to them and stuff.
Yeah, it's a misconception that you would see in some of these movies that gangsters walked around intimidating everybody. No, you get yourself killed that way. They actually walked around complimenting people and greasing palms, and really it was a popularity contest. All these successful gangsters from this era were all peacock popularity type guys with the general public. Now, with other gangsters, there was rivalry there. Sometimes they didn't get along. Sometimes they had to kill each other off. But with the general public, they were constantly in PR mode.
Which is smart because if everybody thinks you're a nice guy, I mean, if you just walk around being a fucking dick all the time,
everyone will turn on you.
Then everyone's going to turn on you because they're like, yeah, fuck that dick.
You don't want that in the newspaper. You want in the newspaper how everybody loves you. Yeah. It can't be true what they're saying about you.
Yeah.
And that's usually what you read in the papers about Al Capone.
Yeah.
Is that, they're after him because he's selling the booze, but of course everybody knows how everybody else feels about the booze. He's such a great guy.
Yeah.
He's a common man.
Well, like I said, what they had on this
that kind of shit.
On this documentary that I watched, they had this one woman who I think she was a dancer at like one of the clubs that he used to frequent, and she said the same thing. She basically, I don't know if she said this outright, but she kind of implied that she didn't think that he had done any of the stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't say that he wasn't a mobster, but she said that, he just always got other people to do his stuff, which he did a lot of times, but I think he did do some shit himself too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he'd kill you. He was beating people up, before he was a big name.
Yeah, and that's like I said, this, all of this stuff that happened. I mean, he did a couple of murders. They think before he was even like 21 or 22.
Before he was famous. Yeah.
Yeah. When he was still kind of
knocking
before
people
he even
in that era, in that place and time, at his class level. Knocking people off, knocking off competitors is something you had to do in your rise to power. You know what I mean? You wouldn't be able to get anywhere if you didn't knock out certain competition.
Yeah.
Usually it's another gangster that's claimed a certain turf that you want.
Yeah, and that's essentially what he did.
Right, and it could be that this guy and he's a real shitbag and people don't like him. So you might think, if I kill this guy, the neighborhood's going to fucking think it's great. I'll take his place.
Yeah.
And I'll be good to him.
Yet another reason not to be a dick. Even if you're a gangster.
Exactly.
Don't be a dick.
So there's always another angle to a lot of this kind of stuff in organized crime.
Yeah, and like you said, I think one of the reasons that Al Capone is still so famous today is
he made probably a lot of good moves.
For that very
he made
reason.
He made a lot of good moves in his line of work.
Even though he did pretty much the same shit that all the other gangsters were doing.
Right.
But
probably just did it to the right ones.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that was a factor also.
Right, yeah. Politics, there's always politics involved.
So like I said, he's still pretty young at this point. Like I said, he's only about 21 years old. There were rumors that he actually killed a guy who had won a craps game in the neighborhood. He just basically shot him and took all his money that he had just won.
Guarantee there was more to it than that.
Yeah, I'm just saying that these are like...
As a rumor.
Some sources say this kind of stuff too. Although he didn't get done for it because either nobody witnessed the murder or everybody said, nope, we didn't see anything. So it was one of those kind of situations. Sorry, Kitty's kind of pushing stuff around with her paw on her butt, and you know how she does. Also, he supposedly beat up a member of the White Hand gang, who was a rival of the gang that he was in at the time. Now, after he did that, he left the guy for dead, but the guy survived. So because the guy had promised retribution, that was why he ended up going to Chicago. Because at this stage, he got married really young. I think he was only 19 years old. And him and his wife actually had a baby before they got married. It was one of those kind of things where they had the baby first and then they got married. So he got married when he was 19. So he had a wife and kid at this point. So because this other rival gang member said, well, hey, I'm going to kill you and possibly your wife and child also. So he just got sent to Chicago to work for Johnny Torrio.
Right.
So this was about, like I said, this is about 1919. Now, this was about the time. Now, the gangs, like I said, that had been run by Big Jim Colosimo at this point. They weren't, Prohibition hadn't come in quite yet, so they were doing like mostly brothels, prostitution, gambling, racketeering, that type of stuff.
Eating pizza. We're gonna have to talk about
too,
gangster
probably.
food. Okay,
Gangster pizza.
You have to understand something. This is Chicago. Okay?
Tom Big Pizza Ross. That's gonna be your gangster name.
Chicago. Gangsters are always fighting over who had the best pizza.
Well, it's Chicago versus
Was
New
it
York.
Chicago pizza or New York pizza?
I like both kinds. I'm
both good.
diplomatic.
Chicago pizza is what they call pizza pie. It's deep dish. Sometimes it has another crust over the top of it.
It's kind of like a casserole.
It's a meat.
Honestly.
It's a whole.
It's good though.
It's a whole meal into itself.
Yeah.
It's deep dish. It's deep dish.
Yeah.
It's good. Now, Capone, actually, they asked, he was interviewed on, I think, at least one occasion about pizza. And
they really did ask him about pizza?
Oh, yeah.
This is a big deal, you guys. Like, I don't know if you're not American, there's like a huge pizza thing.
No,
like I said, it's generally New York style versus Chicago style.
Yeah, no, fucking Capone.
But there's California style
Capone
too. That's another thing.
Capone was firmly behind Chicago deep dish pizza.
It is good.
Firmly behind.
Like I like both kinds, but it depends on what I'm in the mood for, honestly.
The newspapers would tell you exactly which pizza place he went and got that at.
I believe that.
I don't remember which one it was, but yeah, he fucking giving him a shout out, telling him where to get that damn
Where's
pizza.
the best deep dish pizza?
Yeah, and in that era, pizza was a foreign food. Anglo Americans didn't eat pizza.
Well, yeah, this is the 1920s.
That was something for Wop, Dago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You didn't eat that shit. But
hilarious.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that gangsters made pizza famous. I think gangsters made...
I think there might be some truth to that statement.
Brought pizza to the American mainstream. Now, there are other countries that have pizza. Brazil has pizza. And they have their own history with pizza. Their pizza is very different. And I think probably, Europe has pizza, of course, and its history is very different. American pizza is American pizza. It's not related to the other pizzas.
Although it comes from immigrants.
It comes from Italian immigrants.
Yeah.
All right, but it has changed a lot and been mutated. Al Capone would have told you, if you were to ask him today, if you were to ask Al Capone about pizza, he would say, Chicago deep dish pizza is rich people's pizza. That Italy was poor people's pizza. That's what they would say.
Yeah.
Because America at the time was a land of plenty in comparison to Italy of that day. And over there, it was basically just a thin piece of bread with a little bit of olive oil and some seasoning, maybe a piece of meat on it. There wasn't much on it, okay? American deep dish pizza is an exaggeration of pizza.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's got everything on it. It's what an Italian back in Italy would have dreamed of having. So, deep dish pizza is the Italian dream come true. It's got all this fucking cheese on it and all this meat and all these vegetables, and that's a real pizza.
It's
that's
basically
rich people
like I said,
pizza.
it's like a pizza casserole or like a pizza quiche.
Yeah, in a way. It's thick.
We've made them before. Like we make them in a cast iron skillet.
I make my own dough.
Yeah, you make the dough and you put it in there in the bottom.
Put it in a fucking cast iron
skillet. And then you just pile on the fillings.
Or I can do New York style. I can do it.
They're all good, like I said.
I love Italian food.
Hard to mess up pizza.
It's hard. Well, no, it's very easy to mess up pizza.
Well.
It's very easy. You can fuck that crust up. You know me. I obsess about crust.
He does. It's true.
That crust has got to stay in there for about a day, 24 hours at least. It's better on the second day before you roll it out and cook it, and you got to do it on a stone.
Yeah.
Hot as possible, 550 degrees possible.
Yeah, hot as
Got to be hot. With real mozzarella cheese, buffalo.
Yeah.
Real. Not. I'll use that partial skim milk when I have it because it's cheap and I always have it. But really, it's got to be real mozzarella.
It is much better. It does make a huge difference.
A huge difference.
And he makes his own sauce.
I grow my own. Grow my own
Basil.
Basil out there in the back is growing. Just throw some basil leaves on there. Shit, man.
You're making yourself hungry.
I'm gonna have every Italian gangster over here to ask them for fucking pizza.
And you're gonna have to make it, otherwise you're gonna be wearing cement shoes.
They're gonna come back and say, "Hey, Tommy make some more of that pizza. Make some more of that pizza."
Like I said, Tommy Big Pizza Ross.
Tommy Big Pizza Ross.
Rossi, you gotta have an Italian last name.
He's Italian, but he's Irish, but he doesn't know that Italian. He's a Mick, American Mick. But he can cook. He cooked just like a Wap Dago.
That's what the gangsters will be saying, quote unquote.
Cook just like a guinea.
All right, so as I said, so the kind of nascent Chicago outfit at the time that Al Capone arrived in Chicago was still doing shit like, running brothels and racketeering and whatever. Now, when Prohibition came along, which if you are not from the United States, means that they actually outlawed alcohol, of all things, which is like it's very funny for me to think about. I'm like, why the fuck did they think that was going to work?
I'll tell you why.
Spoiler alert, it didn't work.
Spoiler alert, it was a small minority of religiously fervent women guilt-tripped people into fucking passing that shit.
Yeah.
It was
They're
fucking
like, your
ridiculous.
men are going out drinking and they're not responsible citizens. And
that's what happens when so-called morality gets in the way of fucking...
Man, don't stop me from drinking.
Morality getting in the way of practicality.
I mean, there's a lot of vices there's a lot of vices that I've given up over the years, but I like drinking.
Prohibition.
I don't drinking.
Okay, remember when I said early on that it's better to have a civilization that's based on rules and laws versus one that's based upon honor.
It depends on what kind of rules and laws.
And the mob way was really supposed to be like an honor-based society, not so much a legal-based society. Well, but you got to look at it this way. The mob way would never exist on its own. It has to have a legal system to piggyback on to.
Yeah. Because
what it does is it finds a way to make profit off of breaking the law.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what
it does. So, had alcohol never been illegal, the mob never would have existed.
Yeah, or not to the extent that they... they wouldn't have gained the power that they gained later on.
It would have been hookers and maybe, like, extortion rackets.
That's what they were doing before.
Yeah, and maybe, like, kidnapping people for ransom. That's probably all you would have been able to do. But that's never mainstream. Alcohol, that was mainstream.
That's what I mean. Everybody
They just handed it right over to them.
They did. That was like the stupidest thing ever.
And
that was like the rise of the whole... the whole reason that we're talking about the Chicago outfit, we're talking about the mafia nowadays, is because of Prohibition.
Yeah. Yep.
That was pretty much... Like I said, they were around. There was still that shit going on, but...
They passed that shit, and fucking the mob was like, cha-ching!
Well, Capone was for sure.
Yeah,
he saw an opportunity.
We can become the heroes.
Yep.
Everybody wants booze, and we'll be the party boys. We will fucking give.
That's
we will
exactly what he thought.
They will love us, and that's exactly what happened. Don't take something that everybody wants that's common and make that shit illegal.
That's what I mean. That's the dumbest thing ever.
No, the response will be organized crime will go, we'll save you.
I don't know what the percentage is. What is the percent of adult Americans, not even like people around the world? I'm sure it's like much higher in other countries.
Adult Americans that drink alcohol? 75% easy.
It's gotta be, at least.
To different degrees.
Yeah. I'm not saying like people that drink all the time, but...
They're probably only 15% teetotalers.
Yeah, it's like, so really, I very rarely meet people that don't drink at all.
You're going to say 85%.
Unless they're like Mormons or something, or they have some other religious, kind of thing where they don't do. I don't think I haven't met that many people. Our
level is probably at about 30%.
Yeah.
I think we're in the top 30%.
Because we're like not alcoholics, but we're like the next level down, probably.
Yeah, we're like a couple steps down. A real alkie that's probably
like I don't drink in the daytime or nothing like that.
We rarely ever see any real alkies. That's probably only about that's maybe.
We know people that drink a lot, but it's usually just like once a week. Like they work all week a normal job, like they're a doctor or whatever, and then like Saturday night they just go and get shit-faced.
Hardcore alkies, that's probably only about 3 or 4%. How much of it?
It's probably not very high, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever, I mean, you know, I know there's probably a lot of alcoholics out there, but I don't think I've ever met anybody that was a hardcore alcoholic. But I don't meet that many people that don't at least drink socially.
Oh, yeah.
Most people do. So, as I said, Prohibition, even from the jump, was like the stupidest idea ever.
Dumb.
And like you said, it handed power essentially right to organized crime.
Power,
That's
money,
exactly what they did.
Popularity. It handed
Yep.
it handed the world right over to those guys. And that was one of the reasons why they damn were fighting over it so hard. Mm-hmm. They wanted to monopolize on it. They just started killing each other over fucking running.
Yeah, that might have been at night. It was probably not all Capone's doing, just him being particularly ruthless. It was just the situation.
They were all just scrambling over the control of this vast market that had just been thrown on them. And these were small-time guys up until this point, becoming a national industry. And the Kennedys came out of that, and they ended up becoming fucking presidents and shit. Okay, so it wasn't just the Italians, it was the Irish too. The Kennedy family was bootleggers. They admit it, so that's not a conspiracy theory. And we've had presidents come out of that family. So it's weird how the Italians didn't come out, but I guess it had to do with the Italians being Catholic and the timing and everything. Now you could have an Italian president.
Yeah, I don't think
no
anybody
problem.
would
It's just that they're just not really appearing.
Because the Italians have been here for so long.
They're as American as apple pie now.
Exactly. There's like a whole.
You're right.
So nobody thinks of them as quote unquote foreigners.
Foreigners,
nobody.
Right,
I mean, nobody that I know, unless they're weirdos. But yeah, so around 1919, 1920, when Prohibition first started to come around, as I said, the burgeoning Chicago outfit was still under the control of Big Jim Colosimo. Now, for whatever reason, I'm not entirely sure why, but Big Jim did not want to get into the liquor business. I don't know if it was for religious reasons or if he just didn't think it was a good idea, or I don't know why. But so he didn't want to get into it. Now, Capone was like, okay, well, I think this is like a good business opportunity. And apparently Johnny Torrio also agreed.
No, they were right.
So they decided they were going to rub his ass out. Now, they're not entirely sure who assassinated Big Jim Colosimo. Some people said it was Al Capone. Some people said it was Frankie Yale, who had owned the brothel where Capone started out.
What was the motive? They needed his vote on something?
No, they basically just wanted him out of the way so they could get into booze production and distribution.
He was impeding them.
He was impeding them. So, he got...
Yeah, the mob way would say that we got to do that.
He got assassinated.
Yeah.
So that's what they did.
He made the wrong decision, though. He was a dumbass. He should have seen that.
That's what I mean. And like I said, I'm not entirely... And maybe some other source says, like, I read, like, a couple different sources of this, but no source, I said, like, gave a reason for why he didn't want to get involved what they called rum running or bootlegging or whatever. He didn't want to get involved in that.
He was too dumb to be in the mob.
I guess. Like I said, I don't know if he had religious reasons. I don't know what his problem was.
They had to knock that link out of the chain of command because he was too dumb. That was an opportunity right there. They made millions of dollars off booze.
Well, yeah.
And launched them into fucking everlasting fame. These guys will always be famous.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they bumped him off, and then Johnny Torrio took over what was then, I don't know if it was known then as the Chicago outfit, but that's what we know now as the Chicago outfit. So, actually, how long are we? Okay. Let's actually take a break right now so I can check on my notes and kind of
get things more
organized and also see what little baby Cookie is doing back there with her
I'm going to make another drink.
Little butt sticking out from
behind.
Your drink? I still have about a third left, so I'm probably fine. But and we're already at like an hour 8 minutes.
I'm gonna be loaded by the time the show's over. The fucking audience.
I know he's gonna be like yelling and waving his arms around and everything.
It's an hour in.
Hour and 8 minutes.
Okay, good.
All right, so we're gonna take a break right now for drink refreshing and note taking and various other things. So we will be back in just a minute.
look at where Putin is. Where is she? There she is. Way up in the sky. Yeah. Oh, you're too
Right, we're back talking about Al Capone and the Chicago outfit. Fucking mobsters, motherfucker.
Men of honor.
Or something. Talking about Tommy, Big
It was
Pizza
honor-based.
Rossi.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't know what my gang name would be. Like my mobster name.
I don't want to say it.
Well, I was gonna say
It would be about.
that's what I was gonna
boobs.
say.
It would be
Of
about
course,
boobs.
because
Yeah.
that's like my one distinguishing feature.
Yeah.
I had a friend,
It'd be like Tits Ashford.
an ex-friend,
Yeah.
who used to call me Tits McGee.
Yeah.
So that's what. Even though I'm not. Well, I'm partially Irish, but I
Be
guess. So
Jenny
I
the
guess
Boobs.
Jenny the Boobs.
Jenny the Boobs.
Call them something else other than boobs. It's like the girls. You know. I don't know. The mammaries. I don't know.
No.
I'm trying to think of like a
You're getting
good.
too high-minded. They would just say
Yeah,
tits.
but I want a good.
It'd be.
I don't want my gangster name to be Jenny the Tits Ashford.
Yeah. That's probably.
God damn it.
That's what they would do. It would be.
I know,
They would just
but that's
break
like-
it down to the most memorable aspect of you. So they don't have to actually memorize your name during these meetings. That's what those.
Hey, the tits.
Yeah.
Should we rub out that one?
Yeah,
dude?
well, that's what those guys are doing. Hey, the Scarface guy. What's his name? Yeah.
They're all like you. They can't remember
Yeah.
anybody's name, so they're just like
Yeah, it's exactly
the guy with the arms and
yeah.
the beard and
Where's
the hair.
Big Jimmy? Not Big Jimmy, not the little Jimmy, and not medium Jimmy. The Big Jimmy.
Medium Jimmy.
Yeah, Big Jimmy.
I would love if there was a gangster called Medium Jimmy.
Yeah, well, that's the kind of shit. We used to do the same shit in the Army. Then we had black dudes, they were all named with Brown. And their girlfriends would call on the public phone. We had like a pay phone in the middle of the common area. This is before cell phones. And it'd be some sister on there going, yeah, where's Brown? And I said, which Brown? Brown. He said, dark brown, light brown, or medium brown. And
Is he more of like a
it'd be like- it's
cappuccino
just-
brown,
yeah, it
or
must
like a
be-
latte brown?
I'm
an
talking about
Americano
dark brown. I'm talking about dark brown. So good. Hey, dark brown! Fucking dude, come out of the room. What's up? So she's on the phone.
Which one's
Oh,
hot
here
brown?
she is. Yeah. That's exactly what
Now
would
I'm
go
getting
down.
back
You'd
to,
have
like-
light brown and dark brown and medium brown.
Like I said, which one is hot brown? Oh,
They're-
I'm going back to food.
If you ask them, they would all be hot brown. They would all say, I'm hot brown. No, it's a hot, dark
Oh.
brown. Dudes had egos, man.
I have to say, like, you know, as shitty as the whole, like, shooting everyone is, I do really love the gangster nomenclature.
I'm telling you,
I'm into that.
this old gangster culture is exactly a lot like military infantry
Yeah.
type shit. We all had nicknames for each other based on how you looked, or things about you, or things that you said.
What was yours?
No, just Ross. That's easy to remember.
Oh, okay.
But some of these guys had names that were hard to remember.
Yeah.
Sometimes a name would just kind of come out of the blue, you know, sometimes. It's usually based around a guy's last name
Yeah.
used in the Army. But, yeah, no, a lot of these names that's what you'd be called in the army. Sometimes.
Yeah, I guess if you had a distinguishing,
some kind of distinguishing
physical feature.
Yeah, especially if your last name's real common.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm talking about? Or too long.
Yeah, and no one's got time to say that shit.
They don't have time to say that shit. Right.
We're just gonna call you Tits.
Yeah. Well, they couldn't get away with
Man tits.
Couldn't get away with that in today's army, and you probably couldn't get away with that back in those days.
That would be funny if there was a gangster called Man Tits. But in a criminal organization,
yeah. Where's Tits? Bring her out. Hey, how you doing, Tits? That's what they were talking about.
Jimmy the Tits.
Toots was Tits. Toots was Tits. Remember Toots? Toots was Tits.
Well, yeah. All right, so we're going back to, like I said, the beginning of Prohibition, and because Big Jim didn't want to get into that business opportunity for whatever reason, he got rubbed out. I don't know if he was killed by Al Capone specifically, or if it was Frankie Yale that did it. Most sources say that it was one of those two guys, but they bumped him out, and then bumped him up, and then Torrio took over. Johnny Torrio took over. Now, about this stage, like I said, Capone was kind of up in there. He was the right-hand man. There were some murders that he was said to be responsible for around this period, 1924. They think that he probably murdered a guy named Joe Howard, and this was in retribution for an earlier assault that Howard had undertaken against a friend of Capone's. So, he was getting revenge for that. Now, there was also this prosecutor named William McSwiggan who actually tried to indict Al Capone on this particular killing of Joe Howard. Now, you will probably not be surprised to learn that McSwiggan also ended up dead. Yeah. So, that whole thing happened too. Now, at this point, and this was maybe not the wisest idea, because at this point, the Italian-American gang, which at this stage, the Chicago outfit was run by Johnny Torrio, and they kind of ran the South Side and the Loop. Now, the Irish-American gang, known as the North Side gang, they were running the North Side of Chicago. And there had been kind of an uneasy truce between these two gangs. However, at this point, it seems like they were kind of trying to encroach on the Irish-American gang's territory, and perhaps unwisely, they assassinated the then leader of the North Side gang, who was named Dean O'Banion. He was in his flower shop, and people came in and shot him dead. Yeah. Now, this was kind of like the beginning of this whole, there was a several-year period where there was, a huge, gang war between these two going on. Yeah, and there was a lot of ethnic rivalry, The Irish were, in this era, underdogs to the Anglo-Americans, okay? But they were closer to Anglo-Americans. They weren't as foreign as Italians in this era. They didn't like this idea of fucking Italians killing them and taking over. And, which that's understandable. Nobody really takes kindly to being killed. But there was a huge rivalry broke out between Irish gangs and Italian gangs. Oh, yeah. And it went on for several years. But another thing that you have to consider is that as that developed, there was also a lot of crossover. But it was mostly about Irish guys leaving defeated gangs to kind of join Italian gangs. That happened too. Yeah. So there was crossover. Yeah. There were fake Italians in these Italian gangs, too. They're pretending to be Italian. But they were Irish. I said, they'd Italian up their last names and stuff. Right. They would Italian. But an Irish can go far in an Italian mob in this era. The only thing that really held him back, he could even be a capo. The thing is he couldn't be a made man. That was the difference. Yeah. You had to prove Italian ancestry to get made.
And really what being made was all about is that another Italian gangster could not knock you off without having approval for it through the chain of command.
Yeah.
And a guy who was made could hire capos. He could form his own army, basically. It was a loose structure, but there was kind of some rules.
I mean, they were, like, pretty organized for a criminal outfit.
Yeah. I think, if I remember correctly, an Irish, they call him an Irish. An Irish could be a capo. He couldn't be made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, like I said, this kind of, like, kind of started this whole rivalry between them. Now, after the murder of Dean O'Banion, sometimes called Dion O'Banion, in his flower shop, he had two associates that were also in the Northside Gang who were named Jaime Weiss and the very famous George Bugs Moran.
Yeah.
And they tried to kill Johnny Torrio in 1925. However, they were not successful. Now, this apparently freaked Johnny Torrio out a little bit. That and him, like, spending a little bit of time in prison around that time. So he just thought, I'm too old for this shit, or I've had enough of this shit. So he decided to go into retirement. Now, at this stage, he decided to hand the reins of the Chicago outfit over to Al Capone, who was then only 26 years old. And he became, in this era, pretty much the boss of all of the fucking brothels, the gambling rackets, the racketeering, all of that shit that was going on in Chicago at the time. Al Capone was now the head of it at 26 years old.
It's a lot of power for a young man like that.
It definitely is.
A lot of money, a lot of girls, a lot of fucking political fucking pull with the police. You could do a lot with that. Yeah. So he considered... He wasn't made at this point, though, was he? Do you know?
I think not, no.
Okay.
This was like, he was still pretty, I mean, like I said, he had been working his way up.
He was a high-level gangster,
but yeah.
But, okay.
But so at this stage, like I said, because Johnny Torrio was like, all right, I'm out, and he retired, and, Al Capone was kind of his second in command, so he just said, okay, well, you just take over the shit. Now, as I said before about this prosecutor, McSwiggan, he got killed, some say accidentally or inadvertently, they weren't really trying to kill him. But because of that, in 1926, Al Capone actually went into hiding for a little while because he was he thought he was going to get
spooked,
retaliated against in about 1926. But apparently nothing happened again. But he didn't get in trouble for it or anything like that. Now, right around 1927, I guess, they're estimating, what I've seen from various sources, was that by 1927, Al Capone's personal wealth was estimated about $100 million. I'm guessing, and that's like in today's dollars or back then dollars. Holy crap.
Back in today's dollars, that would be $1 billion probably.
Yeah, that's fucking massive. So he wasn't, like I said, there was a lot of fucking rackets going on, even though he tried to portray himself as he's a man of the people. Like I said, he opened up a soup kitchen during the Depression. He would give large amounts of money to charities and whatnot, and kind of tried to portray himself as a friendly guy and friend of the working people. He would give people money. He was a big tipper and stuff like that.
Now, some people might say at this point in the story, where are the cops in all this? But you have to understand that city police and even state police in this era of American history are not real professional organizations. They're on par basically with rent-a-cops. They're not well trained. They're not well armed. They're not well managed from above. They're just no match for organized crime, really. It wasn't until later, until federal agencies, and there was more reforms later in decades to come. Really, you didn't really see modern police work or modern style police forces in the United States until after World War II.
Yeah.
So when you can go back in history and read what these guys did and how they dealt with cops and interactions between gangsters and cops, it always favored the gangsters. They just bribed cops away. Cops were scared of gangsters.
That too. Because they would kill a cop just
they
as easily.
They kill a cop in a fucking
just
heartbeat.
Like anyone else.
All right. Because when you saw a cop of that era, he was a skinny, untrained, like a mall cop is what they were like, with a little, maybe a .38 special revolver and.
Well, they didn't have a lot of the training like
no
that.
Training and no radios, no organization, and then the judicial system that backed them up was corrupted.
Particularly in Chicago.
Yeah, and then...
It's kind of known for it.
So, the cops had their hands tied. They really just weren't really a match.
Well, and like I
guys.
said, I think a lot of the problem, too, was that when these gangsters would do this kind of... Even if they did it in public places, like because some of these gangsters were gunned down, like on public streets or in restaurants or something like that.
You didn't start seeing modern law enforcement identities until like the time of Frank Hamer, this is in that same era, but towards the later part of it, going out, and he was a federal agent. He was a Texas Marshal, or I forgot what he was, but shit, I'm making myself look stupid. But Hamer actually hunted down Bonnie and Clyde. Some of the tactics that he used, and he had been empowered by federal authorities to do stuff, and really the experience that they learned through Hamer. That's really when modern policing was kind of born. How to deal with these damn organized gangs. Yeah. They just weren't ready for this.
Well, yeah, I mean, clearly, because like I said, not only did they bribe a lot of the cops, a lot of the politicians, judges, and everything like that, but because they had a particular reputation, everyone in the city knew who they were. I mean, like I said, they could come into a restaurant and just gun down somebody. They could gun down somebody in a public street in the middle of the day, and because the witnesses or any jury that they would convene at a trial knew what would happen to them if they testified against this person, everybody would say, I didn't see anything.
And it was the same for a beat cop.
Yeah.
A beat cop would go,
they
if I shoot that gangster, they will find out where my family lives and kill me and my family.
I mean, it was their reputation preceded them.
Yeah.
And intimidation was also a factor. They definitely intimidated witnesses. They intimidated jury members. They intimidated, lawyers, judges, anybody that would prosecute them, which is the reason that a lot of them didn't do much jail time until much later on when, like, law enforcement became, like, enough of a force to, like, actually fight back against
and they
them.
had the organized crime had the ability to cast this terror into people because their fingers were in the system at all levels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're talking about, all your mayors and your fucking
they
local
were
representatives.
Wealthy. They had a lot of money. They could grease a lot of palms. It's like it was very easy for them to just like throw cash around. Or if they didn't have enough cash to throw around, then they would just kill you. So they just blow your car up. They would just fucking.
So a modern person might want to look at the gangsters of this particular era as almost like parallel government.
That is essentially what they were.
They had government in their fucking pocket. So...
Well, and they had another kind of thing going on, too, because they would do the whole extortion racket where they, would go to, say, small business owners, and they'd say, hey, I'll protect you from this rival gang for X amount of money, and if you didn't pay that, then they would blow your shit up. Yeah. Al Capone also, when he first started doing the bootlegging, during Prohibition... That was another thing that he would do. He started, like, manufacturing his own beer, and if you didn't buy beer from him, then he would blow your shit up. Yeah. And everyone knew that he would blow your shit up because he did it a few times. Yeah. So everyone got right in line.
Well, it's
like
business.
You would do.
It's just business.
That's what I mean. You don't want to get you don't want to get blown up. I don't want to get blown up. Do you? It's like nobody does.
And here's something else.
It sucks, but
and here's something else to kind of throw in that mix. According to what I read from the sources of the time, the higher up, in other words, like the high up gangsters like Capone and his guys, the product that they sold, the beer and the gin, it was mostly beer and gin, really, and some whiskey. They got it from whiskey from Canada, actually aged whiskey. Did. That the quality was good. Yeah. It was very good.
Well, it wasn't like the shit people were brewing in their bathtubs. Right,
because there was also weird bathtub shit and fucking, and there was bootleg alcohol that was made out of...
people wanted alcohol, goddammit.
That was made out of fucking wood alcohol. It would make you go blind. It was bad shit.
Some of it was poisonous.
Yeah, it would make you go blind. So we gotta... gotta give a fucking gangster credit. Capone and his boys, it was good booze.
They were supplying
it was a quality product.
Even though they were making you take it, or they would blow your shop up.
Yeah, but evidently it was a fucking good product.
But it was better than
the competition.
Better than getting blown up, and also getting better,
Better than bathtub gin.
Right.
And fucking wood alcohol, make it go blind.
Which, man, I have read some shit about that era. And this is like, I don't know if I'm desperate enough.
Yeah.
Like, I like drinking and I like booze and everything, but it's like, if it was outlawed, I don't think I'd be desperate enough to, like, drink fucking the shit that they used to drink back then. I don't think I would
lose your fucking vision.
That's what I mean. It's not worth it to me.
No.
Not to that extent.
Your high-level fucking Italian mob, at least they had good booze.
Yeah, I mean, you can give them that, for sure. They were supplying a product that the public wanted.
And
even though, like I said, to a certain extent, they were making shop owners take it.
Now, I'm going to throw some Mississippi into this, because that's just my heritage. At this same time that's going on, we were doing moonshine back there. And this was this was like the beginnings of NASCAR. Because rednecks had to fucking soup up their cars in order to fucking outrun the cops. Because they were carrying fucking moonshine in the back. And from those modifications made
Daytona
on those
Beach,
old cars...
bitch, that's where I was born.
It was outrunning the fucking cops. Outrunning the cops and fucking...
That's where the whole fucking NASCAR shit... Like I said, that's why there's a track in Daytona Beach. I was born in Daytona Beach, right across the street from the fucking NASCAR track.
And moonshine...
Halifax Hospital.
Moonshine is good. I mean, it's usually corn-based.
Well, depending on who makes it.
Yeah, if it's made right. You can buy it now. It's kind of like the American... If you're a Brazilian, you would know it's a cachaça or pinga. It's a very high alcohol content. Powerful. Oh, yeah. Not a lot of... It's not something... people will drink it straight to fucking prove what a man they are. But it's something you mix.
It's not enjoyable to drink straight.
But, you can mix it with punch. It's fucking fantastic. Moonshine. Good moonshine. Yeah. It's fucking 200 proof. 200 proof moonshine.
That's what I mean.
It's like Everclear.
That's what I mean. You have like some little thing like that and you're just like, fuck, you're just falling over.
So we were in on that too. One of the ones that fucking came out of that scene was a fucking a moonshine runner. Accidentally killed a law enforcement agent and went to fucking prison for it. And when the war started... he became a weapons designer. His name was Carbine Williams, and he fucking made the gas operating system of the fucking M1 carbine. And in prison he was allowed to make that fucking the prototypes of that fucking carbine that ended up serving in World War II.
See, everything's connected, man.
Everything's interconnected. Booze and gangsters and warfare and fucking all that shit, and fucking prison and cops.
Well, see, that's what they mean about the butterfly effect. You can't change one little thing because it'll change. There's ripples and it changes everything. Because like I said, there's all this
ripples in history and ripples in time, just like there's ripples in this tequila.
Sure.
Just like there's ripples in tequila.
It's all connected, man.
I got Mexico touching my brain as I'm fucking drinking.
I'm not even on LSD right now.
You got mixtures of Irish-American DNA mixing with fucking Mexican booze all coming in to bring you a show in your house while you're working.
Or wherever you are.
Well, actually, they were sending pictures, man. Who was that was actually driving a damn front loader while they were doing heavy construction while they were in this war show?
I saw that.
Yeah. It was one of our regulars. I forgot the name. I know who it is, though.
Just please be careful. Well, don't get distracted by our shenanigans.
Our shenanigans here. We're drinking and you're out there fucking doing heavy lifting.
I mean, I work too, but it's Friday night.
Yeah,
I've already worked all week.
Yeah, we've worked with us.
I mean, this is still kind of working, but it's still
actually, the work part of it is doing all the engineering.
And it gets funner as I get drunker.
Yeah, okay.
Even though I'm sure it gets less fun for the people listening because I feel like I probably get less coherent and I just lose track of what the fuck I'm talking.
You're doing good, Jenny. What's next on Al Capone?
Thank you for the okay. So like I said, there was so much fucking gang warfare between the Italian-American gangs and the Irish-American gangs. Now in 1929, Al Capone made what was probably not the smartest move. And this would be the very famous St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Yeah. Well,
now,
that seemed to be the right thing at the time.
I guess. Mean, it
seemed to be that they could get away with everything. So.
Yeah, well, he thought that this would be, like, a statement, and this would, like, cripple his enemies, like, they wouldn't fuck with them anymore,
right.
And this was going to be a big deal, but it ended up kind of blowing up in his face a little bit. As I said, this happened in 1929.
He overreached.
A tad.
Yeah, he overreached. There was retaliation from the feds with this.
A tad, yeah. So, like I said, I feel like this was probably not the best.
The beginning of the end. It was a bad idea.
Yeah.
You should have just played it cool, fought the war, kept the war low-key, and tried to keep it out of the fucking... you should have kept it out of the papers as much as possible. Instead, he was going to say, no, I'm going to go all in, and the papers are going to trumpet my victory.
Yeah.
But... we're not maybe locally, but he's thinking, he wasn't thinking about the national level and how the feds would respond to this.
Well, and also how the public would respond, because
you're right.
I mean, what he ended up doing, I mean, basically they were watching like members of the Irish American, the North Side gang, and then he got them to come to this fucking warehouse or whatever it was on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 1929. Now, he said, like, all his guys, like, were pretending to be cops, and they pretended it was a raid.
Yeah.
And they got, like, 7 dudes.
It was a murder. Massacre.
And they got them up against the wall, like, their hands against the wall, and they just fucking gunned them all down.
Tommy gunned them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And photographs of that, and you can still, I'm probably not going to put it in the video, because I don't want this shit to get demonetized, but, like... the photographs of it were published in the papers at the time because they didn't fucking care. They didn't give a single fuck about like graphic gore or anything. Yeah. So they show like all the fucking bodies like laying on the floor, and like people kind of turned against that kind of shit because they're like, well, okay, well, Al Capone was kind of like a cool guy and shit, but dude, that's not cool. Yeah. You just like they shot them in the back.
It was an execution.
It was it was essentially an execution, and like it's 7 dudes.
They met up with their enemies in their own turf where they had a bunch of barrels of fucking booze. It was like a booze warehouse.
Yeah.
They were dressed as cops. That's how they got in there. Mm-hmm. Lined up the enemy gang, machine gun them with Tommy guns.
Yep.
Now, probably about time to talk about Tommy gun, because I would say that in this era the Tommy gun became famous. The Thompson submachine gun was around for a long time. It was a World War I actual weapon, really, even though we didn't buy a whole lot of them. It was a .45 caliber submachine gun. It used bush blocking for a while. There's a bunch of different versions of it, but the gangsters kind of made it famous. It was like, in a way, the very first assault rifle. And you could buy them brand new in full auto configuration from Sears and Roebuck. This is before any national firearms. Well, full auto and sound suppression, they just weren't really factors in crime. So why control it?
Yeah, it wasn't, until this era, I feel like it wasn't like a big...
They call it the Chicago typewriter. That was one of the words. One of the terms for it. Really, you could, but yeah, you can buy them from Sears and Roebuck, mail order, and there was no background checks. There was no concept of anything like that.
Well, yeah, you could just buy stuff. Sears Roebuck had that big old catalog.
Yeah, you just order it and it'd show up to your house.
I actually remember getting those catalogs in the mail when I was little.
They weren't. That
was the end of that era.
They weren't real anally retentive about that, because they figured crime was crime. It wasn't illegal until you killed somebody. So you could have it.
Yeah, you were a respectable individual.
Well, in a way, it doesn't matter, because if you're a criminal, you can get that shit easier than you can through the legal means. Yeah. So a lot of that shit, a lot of these gun laws and stuff is kind of fucking crazy. And then suppressors. Civilians call them silencers, which is kind of a misnomer. They're not silent. If you suppress a 9mm, it sounds like an unsuppressed .22. Okay.
Yeah, it's not as loud as usual.
It's not as loud as normal, but it's still loud.
It's still loud.
There's no, they don't start getting silent. Involved. They don't start getting silent until you take something like a .22 and suppress that. It kind of sounds like a BB gun. But if you listen to our other shows, it doesn't matter. Because there were a lot of murderers that went and fucking gunned people down with fucking 380 and 38 and 22 without suppressors in a house, and then that house next door never reported any gunshots. Suppressors are a fucking joke. Really. Technically. You don't really need one.
I mean, to me,
you can fire a 9mm in my house, my neighbors won't hear it. Or if they do hear it, they won't know what it was. They won't even call the cops.
I mean, I've heard comparisons between the two, and it's not a huge difference to me.
Yeah.
And honestly, if somebody in the next house over, like you said, like gunned down their entire family, it's like, I'm not sure I would necessarily, even if I did hear it, it wouldn't be like significant enough for me to be like, oh, somebody just gunned down their whole family. You would attribute it, oh, maybe somebody's out doing fireworks like our neighbors do on the 4th of July.
But if you actually look at all the technical aspects of it, if you were to just... The ATF, Alcohol, Tobaccos, and Firearms, who runs all this, they actually want to liberate suppressors because they don't think suppressors make any impact on crime. And I'm going to tell you right now, they don't. They would have no impact.
I would have to agree with you.
You could just liberate suppressors.
It's not a huge difference.
It won't make a difference. It won't make a difference.
I've heard it. Like I said, I've heard the difference, and to me, it doesn't sound that much different.
It was banning sound suppressors, banning sawed-off shotguns. That won't make any difference because you can already get a pistol in a shotgun caliber. Call it a fucking pistol instead of a sawed-off shotgun, which does the same thing as a sawed-off shotgun, and it has no impact on crime. Whoever's going to kill anybody would kill anybody anyway, with something else.
Like I said,
it won't
it's
have
like
an impact.
You have to have laws, but they
have to make sense.
There's a certain extent where if you can get around the law, in particular, like if there's very obvious loopholes or something like that, it just seems like... I don't know, man. It just seems like there's not much point to it.
But all the banning of sound suppressors and full auto all came from this era because of these gangsters.
Yeah.
And actually, it didn't impact anything. The difference between full auto and semi-auto is small. You might as well just make full auto legal. You would probably actually kill less people with full auto than semi-auto. When I was in the Army, we fired our M16s mostly on semi-auto. It was more effective. Full auto wasted a bunch of ammo. It was mostly, you fired faster, but you mostly missed shit. So, it's hype. It's hype. People kill people. If you have you can kill people with whatever weapon you're given. They're all kind of dangerous. And dangerous guys are always going to have them. In countries that have fucking banned them, gangsters take over just like this, and they get weapons. They get weapons from the government. Because the guys in the government are just as crooked as those fucking gangsters. They sell them to them. Just look at Brazil. Brazil had no guns whatsoever. I got friends over there right now. No guns whatsoever. Guns proliferate. They're everywhere. All the criminals have them. Where'd they get them? The government. Crooked people in the government sold them to them. People are imperfect. It's better just to have a balance of power.
That's a nice way of putting it.
It's better
people
to just...
are imperfect.
They're just imperfect. They're corrupt naturally. It's better just to have a balance of terror between people.
It's not so much that, it's this... You have to manage the corruption.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do.
Right.
It's like you can't let people just like run wild with their baser instincts because innocent people would get hurt. You have to like mitigate it somehow.
And the best way to mitigate it is to hold people responsible for the crimes that they commit. You kill somebody, you catch that fucker and you kill him. Or you send him in prison for life. But that's not happening in a lot of these countries that have these same other problems. Like Brazil. Yeah, not only can you be a gangster and get these guns from the cops or whatever they sell to you, you can also kill somebody and walk.
Well, I think that was the problem here, too, in this particular era, because if you have enough money and you have enough power and you have enough weaponry and the police force is not equipped to
do anything
about it, then you can easily intimidate the authorities that are supposed to protect the public from you into letting you skate.
Yeah. There's a problem in the United States right now, especially with younger people that I've been seeing. They think that if you make a law and you write it down on paper that it's something that happens. Failed states are filled with laws that can't be fulfilled. You have to have a criminal justice system and a system that holds people accountable for the crimes that they commit. And this starts at the very, very top. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The rich ruling class have to be held accountable for the crimes that they commit.
Well, that would be nice.
And usually what happens is that the fish rots from the head. The people at the top are not being held responsible for their crimes. So then all of a sudden they go, well, you know what? Fuck the law. Everyone, just do whatever the fuck you want to do. That's kind of what happened in Brazil.
And like I said, I think that's a problem everywhere. Obviously, the more money that you have, the more shit you can get away with.
Exactly.
And that is a problem.
The ruling, this goes back to ancient Rome. The problems always start in the ruling class and the elite. If they can run amok, everyone
can.
Right.
Well, because that's the thing. It's like, people like my poor ass are like looking at this and be like, why the fuck should I follow the law? They don't.
They don't. Right.
I mean, it's like I don't have the money to like hire a lawyer, clearly. Right. So, and I obviously don't have the desire to do that kind of stuff, but some people do. But it's like, if you have enough money, you can get away with essentially anything.
Right.
Which, that should not happen. Everyone should be equally accountable.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know how feasible that goal is.
As soon as those fuckers are allowed to get away with whatever they want,
everyone is,
and then you have a failed state.
Yeah, it's a free-for-all.
It becomes a failed state. And
I mean, everyone, like I said, ideally, everyone should be held equally accountable, no matter how much money they have, no matter how good the lawyer they can afford is, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I know, that's an ideal, obviously. I don't think that's ever going to happen because, like humans are imperfect,
and this
like you said.
definitely plays into the time period we're talking about with these gangsters.
Oh, yeah.
During the 1920s, the people at the top were not being held accountable for the crimes they were committing, but they were committing crimes like drinking. Okay, that should have never been illegal.
Which shouldn't have been a crime.
So that's what caused all this shit.
I mean, just like I feel like taking drugs should not be a crime.
Right. Neither do I. Those drugs should be legal. If you want to get high,
do it.
Get fucking high. If you make them illegal, you have prohibition just like this. Now you got drug cartels.
Yeah, now you got gangs dealing heroin, and it's millions of dollars on the line, and they're killing each other. It's dumb. It's like, just let people...
Let them fucking
just let people do it.
Let them have their chemical bliss. Fuck them. It's no skin off your nose.
That's what I mean. It's none of my business. It's none of my business.
No.
It's worse if you prohibit it.
Of course, because
you're causing more crime.
And then all of a sudden, money just fucking goes through the roof.
Yep.
Because you've illegalized it. You've now made it valuable.
You're causing more crime.
Right.
On the back end.
Right. Just let them have it.
Because, like I said, if the shit was legal and available, no one would steal for it. No one would kill for it. There wouldn't be this gangs.
The price would plummet.
People would just buy it like fucking cigarettes.
Yeah. The price would plummet.
Yeah.
It would become, like, worthless.
Man, if you could just go to Walgreens and buy heroin.
Yeah.
Like you could buy a pack of cigarettes. Holy crap. I don't want to do heroin. I'm just saying, if people want to do it, let them fucking do it.
Well, I think in that case, that's kind of a fucking touchy case because that is fucking dangerous and very addictive.
It is, but you could argue that about...
This is what I would do.
Multiple things.
This is how I would do it. Instead of selling it, I'd give it away for free. I would say, if you're a heroin addict, all you have to do is go to this center right here, and we'll give it to you for free. That's what... Well, they used to do that in the UK. I don't know if they still do that. They used to do that when I lived there. It wasn't heroin, but it was methadone, which is similar. And the fucking money would just fall... would disappear. Yeah. And there wouldn't be any incentive... There wouldn't be any incentive to have a drug cartel. To criminalize it. Sure. And the drug cartels would collapse. Yeah, because there wouldn't be any... Like that methadone shit was a joke, though. Fucking... I've known junkies. And they said there was no difference between methadone and heroin. That's what I just said. It should have just been damn heroin. That's what I said. And then that would have fucking totally collapsed the honestly, drug market. I kind of feel like that was a good idea that they just like gave heroin addicts methadone. And you don't give it to a person who isn't an addict. You say, you're an addict? No, I'm not an addict. I just want heroin. Get the fuck out of here. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Essentially, like I said, when I used to live in the UK, that's what they used to do. People that were heroin addicts and that had problems that were being hospitalized for it, they would just give you methadone.
And you would go back just like you would get a prescription or whatever. And I feel like that kind of like mitigated a lot of the drug problem.
Right.
Maybe not nowadays, but they did that back in the day. And I feel like that's a better idea. Just manage the shit.
You have to get rid of the prohibition.
Like I said, humans are not perfect.
I was there during all this.
Manage it.
So were you. We were kids.
Yeah.
We watched all those religious right-wing Republicans of the 80s, the very early 80s, grandstanding
I remember.
about banning all these fucking drugs and doing all this draconian shit.
It's not going to work.
It didn't work. It got worse.
It's not going to work.
And they did it using religion as a fucking excuse. What they should have done, and the ATF at the time said, and DEA said, no, don't do that, man.
Don't do that.
Don't crack down hard on it. What you do is you just open up treatment centers.
Yeah.
And fucking go soft on it.
That's what most of Europe did.
Right. And it would have worked out a lot better.
Yeah. I do feel like the hardline shit, that's dumb. Don't ever do that. Like I said, we saw the shit happen. We had alcohol prohibition of all things. How fucking stupid is that? Right. Did anybody else do that shit?
No. You can't.
Look how dumb that shit is. You can't do that shit.
You can't really do a prohibition on anything. Like outright gun bans would just fail. Organized crime would
like
make
I said, I feel like
guns.
anything of any extreme. You can't have any of this. You can't have any of that. That's never going to work. You have to.
Right.
Reality doesn't work that way. Reality is all gray area. You have to manage shit.
You just manage it.
You have to understand what human nature is like. It's like, how much of this can we put up with?
Right.
You know, how much of this
are we willing to... minimize bad behavior?
Right. Let's minimize bad behavior. Right. Let's maximize, like, people's happiness. Let's maximize... Yeah. That's all you have to do. It's like, it's a fucking continuum, man. It's not just like one or the other. You can't ban this, ban that.
I've heard all this crazy shit. Let's ban all guns. Oh, we're just going to hand that right over to the fucking mafia.
That's what I mean. It's like, as much as I, personally, I'm not a big gun fan, but it's like, even I know it's not realistic.
I'm a gun fan.
Particularly,
I like them.
Right. But like, particularly in this country, it's like, it's not going to work.
Never work.
It's not going to work.
What would happen is organized crime
Culturally, it's not going to work.
Organized crime would go, oh, guns are illegal? Okay, let's start making machine guns with silencers, and we'll make them cheap. Everyone will have a Mac 10.
That's what I mean. It's essentially going to be the same thing that happened with Prohibition when they said, oh, let's ban all alcohol.
It would get worse because what would happen was there'd be absolutely no controls. None.
That's what I mean.
None.
Well, and that's what happened, like I said, with Prohibition. They decided, oh, well, let's ban all alcohol. What happened was that illegal cartels, essentially, gangsters, took over the whole distribution of alcohol. And it didn't have any regulation. You didn't know how safe it was. You know it was poisonous. I mean, some people died from drinking that shit.
Went blind.
Because they just made, like, some horrible shit out of, fucking wood alcohol or, like, some shit that was, like, people are not supposed to drink. And people drank it because where the fuck else are you going to get it?
And then you look at the reasons why they banned this shit. And when you really look down to it, it's religion. It's some kind of a moral thing. Alcohol has to be banned because Jesus said so.
Well, there's a weird...
This has to be banned because it's bad.
This is something
if you don't like it, don't fucking do it.
I kind of feel like this is kind of something that... There's like a really strong thread of this in American culture. I think it's like some kind of like weird like Protestant work ethic type of thing. Where it's like, if it's enjoyable, then it must be bad.
It's got to be bad. If you like it, we got to get rid of it.
So, right. There's really a strong current of that. Yeah. Even though, like, Americans are also, like, super, like, into debauchery and whatever. But it's like, there's also this other kind of thread on the other side where it's like, anything that, like, is fun, we can't be doing that. Because if it's fun, it must be bad or wrong in some fashion. Yeah, so anything that people enjoy, drinking, drugs, prostitution, we have to, like, just ban that.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
And I don't think that's ever going to work. Because that's not how humans work.
I'm 50. From the American point of view, I would probably be considered right-leaning or on the right. But the thing is, I have nothing to do with, like, say, right-leaning people from, say, like, my parents' generation. Shit has changed a lot. Like, I have no problem with prostitution as long as it was controlled.
That's what I mean.
You know how old the girl is. You make sure that they have medical checkups. You know what I mean? There should be licenses
honestly,
for that.
and here...
I have no problems with drugs.
I don't either.
I think that people should, if they want, I believe people have the right to what they... Back in the 1800s, they called it the right to chemical bliss. If you want to get high, get fucking high. It's no skin off my nose. I'd rather have you getting high and ODing and dying than have these fucking drug cartels come in here machine gunning people, making a shit ton of money off fucking crap drugs. It's no skin. I don't give a shit. I don't care.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do. You know what I'm talking about? It's all this fucking weird morality crap that's shoved down our throats.
Like I said, and, just for the record, I am a very, very left-leaning
She's left. I'm right.
person.
We get along. But
we agree on this issue. I'm like, if this is something that you are just doing to your own body, if you want to drink yourself to death, if you want to do heroin, if you want to go to prostitutes... Yeah. That is none of my business. Mm-hmm. I don't care who you have sex with as long as they are consenting. I don't give a shit about anything that you do in your bedroom. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care.
Who cares?
It's like, just do what you want to do, man.
Right, yeah.
Do what you want. I'm not judging. Do what you want to do.
I believe in an open society where nobody's shoving in other people's shit down somebody else's throat. Do whatever the fuck you want to do.
That's what I mean. It's just like, and honestly, I'm not even like, even though I'm a little bit, personally, I'm kind of anti all religion, because, I've been an atheist since I was a kid. But if people want to believe this, that, and the other, believe whatever you want. It doesn't matter. As long as it doesn't influence the laws that you want to pass, and you want to, impose on me with that shit. Yeah. Don't do that.
We're a secular society.
Yeah.
I'm a mythicist. I'm an ex-Christian, but I'm a mythicist. All right. I believe that religions are myths, but that doesn't mean that they're not true, and that doesn't mean that they're bad. I believe that there's a value in religions.
For some people, sure.
Yeah, and depending on what religion it is and how it's expressed, I'm not a fundamentalist, but I think religions can help people get through hard times and to make sense out of the world. Or their stories that help you to establish a kind of like a moral compass and the way you're going to do things.
I don't have any problem with that whatsoever.
That's what religion is for. You know what the real deal what religion is really for? And for me, religion is a way to help you face death. We're all gonna die.
And if people need that, then I am not bothered by that.
That's what that's just for.
If you're just using it as a moral compass, if you're just, like I said, as long as you are not imposing it on other people or using it to
I don't believe in this.
Act out. Don't do that. But if you want to whatever you want to believe, outside of those parameters.
I don't believe in this crusader jihadi mentality of making you believe what I believe.
Well, that's what I mean. It's any kind of fundamentalism, and I have been like that since I was a child. Any kind of fundamentalism, authoritarianism, the second that you say, I know what's better for you than you do,
right?
I am opting out of that.
Yeah, and if you guys think I'm bullshitting, go back to our other episode where Dr. Robert M. Price came on, and we talked about mythicism and Jesus Christ myth, or we talk about Christianity. These stories about Christianity are valuable, but you have to understand where they came from and what they are. You can't... They were never meant to be imposed upon non-believers. And, that's all I can say about that.
As far...
There's not as much to them as you think that there are.
I've always, here's the thing. The only creed, if it can be called that I ever adhere to, my rights to swing my arm end at your face. Yeah. So, as I said, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, kind of a massive PR blunder on the part of Al Capone.
Shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, well, I kind of feel like he thought it would, help him, propel him to, oh, look, I'm such a badass, but really... Because of the reporting on it at the time, the whole media surrounding it, and the fact that the media published a lot of the photographs from the shit
made it look real grisly.
That didn't help either, because it looked like essentially, what it was that these dudes were duped into coming to this place and then were essentially gunned down. They were unarmed. They were shot in the back.
Alphonse overreached. Shouldn't have done it that far.
Yeah, a little bit. So, 7 guys brutally gunned down in a warehouse on Valentine's Day of 1929 didn't go as well as he was expecting. Also in 1929, Al Capone ended up serving 10 months in a prison in Philadelphia after a conviction concerning carrying a concealed handgun. So this was kind of like the beginning of the end. Now, because prosecutors couldn't get him on, they knew they wouldn't be able to get him on racketeering charges, murder charges, any of the other, kidnapping, any of the other, major charges.
Well, he was too distanced from all that. Cause
that too. He had other people do it. He had, muscle, kind of he intimidated witnesses, he intimidated juries and things like that.
No written records or evidence to prove that he fucking gave orders.
He was very careful about that
and this was before the advent of the RICO Act.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe was RICO actually invented for this case?
You know what? It may have been. I didn't research that, but it may have been.
Okay. Maybe we'll look into that later if it didn't come up, but this was before the idea of RICO case and a motherfucker was really solidified. And in order to take down organized crime figures, you have to have the ability to RICO somebody.
Yeah.
Which is a totally different way of investigating fucking crime. It's tailored in the United States. It's a process tailored to fight organized crime. You don't need as much evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's essentially how they ended up getting it.
Right.
I mean, the thing about it, and this was actually, I believe it was a female district attorney, judge. I can't remember what she was. Her name was Mabel Willa something. Yeah. Willa Force.
You didn't write it down?
I did, but I can't remember where it is in my notes.
Yeah, she drove.
But yeah, so she decided that it's okay, well, maybe we can get him on a lesser charge, but enough lesser charges that we can put him in prison for a long time.
Right.
And she said, well, for a test case, let's prosecute this other guy that we have, on similar charges and see if that sticks, with the Supreme Court. So she, tested it out beforehand.
Right.
So they did that beforehand with this one guy, and they said, okay, well, we can do this whole tax evasion thing, what she was kind of shooting for. And it worked. It passed, Supreme Court muster or whatever. So she said, okay, well, go ahead with that shit with Al Capone. So very famously, Al Capone, even though he had murdered multiple people,
or ordered the murder,
murder of multiple people, even though he had done kidnappings and various other criminal, charges, they said, well, let's try to get him on enough counts of tax evasion to put him away for a long enough time. And paramount to that was proving how much income that he had from illegal sources.
Right.
And there was apparently, I was reading the Wikipedia page about this, and it was kind of fascinating for a dork like me, but it's also, if you're into law, also a fascinating case, because all the shit they had to go into to prosecute him for this particular kind of set of circumstances, because there was all this kind of argument about well, all the money that he spent in this particular city, can that be allowed, or it's was that part of his income or not? So it was this huge thing. But eventually they charged him on the initial case with 23 counts of tax evasion.
Yeah.
Now, he did get convicted of only 3 counts of that, but that was enough to put him in prison, which was what they wanted to do.
Tax evasion was his Achilles heel.
Yeah.
And they had a really good movie called The Untouchables. It was about this actual case.
Yeah, watch that. It's a good movie.
If you haven't seen that movie, go see it. It's fucking awesome. That's an awesome gangster movie. The Untouchables. How they got Al Capone on tax
They just
evasion.
wanted him in prison. They didn't care how they did it. They just wanted to find some fucking angle.
Yeah.
And that was the angle they chose.
Bunch of nerds figured out how to put this motherfucker away.
See? That's why nerds run the world,
Nerd power got him.
That's why. Because they were well, we know we can't get him on murder because no one will testify because they're terrified of him.
Right.
Or, of what will happen if they do testify.
But the numbers didn't add up. You can get him on tax evasion. The numbers didn't add up.
We have to get him on something that he won't be expecting. We have to come at him from, some other angle, man. So that's what they did.
Yeah.
They got him from fucking tax evasion because he was not shy about, spending a shit ton of money he bought, a big fancy house in Florida. He bought some other things, he spent a lot of money in, brothels and whatnot. And casinos. So they said, well, we can use that to show that he had, a particular income in this particular year. And a lot of it wasn't,
never claimed that shit.
Claimed to the government to pay taxes on. And the fact that, perhaps stupidly, Al Capone offered to pay taxes on a couple of years of his income, and he offered to pay taxes on $100,000 a year, which is kind of a lot. So the government kind of he must be making more than that, or at least that much.
Right.
So we can at least get him on that because he didn't pay taxes for these particular years on that.
Yeah.
So it was a huge legal thing that they
Al wasn't really expecting this line of attack from the government.
That's why it was genius.
Right. He needed a lawyer. He needed a really good Jewish tax lawyer is what he needed to defend him from this. But he didn't see it coming. Because he...
Like I said, that's why it was
had he had the right kind of lawyers behind him to really account for everything, he probably could have distanced himself from these possessions that he actually had. You know what I'm talking about? Because he
was smart enough to not put anything in his own name. I believe
but he was living in a lot of this shit.
Well, I believe that even, the mansion that he bought in Florida, I believe he put that in his wife's name as far as I can recall. So he knew enough not to put shit like that, major purchases, in his own name. But he still spent an inordinate amount of money on, restaurants, brothels, all that kind of stuff. And, people noticed that kind of shit.
He should have gotten away from the fucking Italian lawyers and gotten a really good Jewish tax lawyer, if you ask me, in that era. Because he could have defended himself from this.
Yeah.
He just didn't see the attack coming.
Well, like I said,
it was too late, I guess. Yeah.
At this point, it was they were that's all we can get him on, and we want him in prison.
Yeah. The feds and Elliot Ness were coming down on him, and that was a fucking brilliant plan of attack.
It was
against Capone because that was his weakness.
Yeah,
he didn't cover all his bases. And like
you said, that was something that he hadn't counted on.
He didn't think they would actually come at him from such a pussy ass angle.
Yeah,
but he should have known that a gangster's got to cover all of his angles.
See?
All
you don't
of them.
Cover all your bases.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to get one of your little ass bases.
Yeah.
Even if you think it's not a big deal, other people are going to see that shit.
He should have been so good with the IRS that the IRS owed him money.
Right, but here's the thing. Whether you're Al Capone or anyone else, there's always a motherfucker out there smarter than you are.
Well,
so either you have to be smarter than everyone else on Earth, or you have to hire a bunch of people that collectively are smarter than everyone.
It was another era. Yeah. I guess tax evasion was not taken as seriously back then, but that was
I suppose because a lot of people did fucking slide on that.
Yeah, the world learned after that.
But like I said. Well, I feel because this was a very famous case of Al Capone who had murdered, they don't even know how many people, who had kidnapped, they don't know how many people.
Well, his organization did.
Yeah, either him or someone that he hired to do it. And they ended up getting him on tax evasion and sending him to jail. So, as I said, he was indicted in 1931 for 23 counts of income tax evasion for the years 1925 through 1929. Now, they also attempted to charge him with some other kind of Prohibition era laws. I don't know how well that worked out, but he was only found guilty on 3 of the 23 counts. But that was enough to sentence him to 11 years in prison and a $50,000 fine. Now, according to other people who served time with Al Capone, he really did not like prison. It was not something that suited his personality. He actually needed protection. from larger and scarier dudes. He got beat up on a pretty regular basis.
Yeah.
So, I feel like reading about this, and particularly whoever wrote the Wikipedia page was obviously like, this bitch got beat up and I'm kind of happy about it. But it seemed like that kind of situation where out on the street, he was like this big tough guy. He could he had all these lackeys that would like go and kill people when he said to.
Well, his money and his gang could protect him.
Yeah, but when he was in prison...
Right.
He was kind of like bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah.
And because everybody knew who he was...
They were out gunning for him.
Everybody was out to get him.
Yeah,
I mean, like, he got stabbed. It's like he had to, like...
They were trying to make a name for themselves.
Oh,
like,
exactly.
I stabbed Capone.
Exactly. And
Capone had gotten kind of soft out on the street. I mean, he lived the life of an executive, really.
Well, yeah. I mean, he had, like, a mansion.
Right.
He had everybody did shit for him, sure.
By the time he got locked up... You know, you had a lot of street thugs down there trying to make a name for themselves by how tough they were.
Yep.
Now he did have the power to get himself into a private cell. I saw it. I saw it on a documentary about it. He made his way into a pretty nice cell. It had carpeting. It had a nice bed. I think it had a piano and some lounge chairs. So he was good. He was safe inside his own cell. But when it came time to go get chow and to do stuff with other prisoners, he was getting hit
pretty regular. Much.
Pretty much. And which kind of surprises me that guys didn't come to his aid knowing that he only had 11 years. Because what that meant is at 11 years that within reason, especially after he'd been there for a couple years, that he would have been free eventually.
Well,
and that he could have offered an ex-con a good job for watching out for him. But the way it went down, he also had syphilis, and that was fucking him up, and it weakened him a lot when he was in prison. And by the time he got out, he didn't really want anything to do with the fucking gangster life after that.
That's what I was going to say.
Kind of retired.
They estimate, he wasn't in prison all that long. But he already had syphilis, like I said, from all the hookers he'd banged
he was
over
drooling
the years.
And shit.
Yeah, and by the time he was let out of prison, he was basically, by the time, like, later on in his sentence, he was basically, like, a 12-year-old child. Actually, like, sub-12-year-old child. Yeah. Some of the letters that were written to people that he knew, like, from prison in those later years were pretty much incomprehensible. Yeah. So it wasn't a type of thing where he was in, like, his right state of mind. Syphilis pretty much just ate him up while he was in prison.
You could kind of say he died in prison. Yeah, because who came out of there was not the same Al Capone.
No.
Yeah, so in a way he kind of vanished in prison. But it was, if you ask me, a sad demise for the guy.
Yeah.
I don't think he had a whole lot of blood on him on his hands personally. I think a lot of the shit that happened, his organization did automatically through standing orders. Gangsters do certain things automatically to protect the organization that they belong to. So I'm sure a lot of the guys that got killed by his organization, he probably didn't know. Or didn't order. They just do it on their own.
But,
some guys just do shit on their own.
There's no way of knowing that at this stage.
No way to know, and it was a different era,
But, as I said, he died of complications from syphilis in, 1947. He
survived incarceration, lived a long time here in Florida with his wife in that damn house.
He did.
How long was it? Do you remember? Did you get it written down?
He was
got
actually...
out, and it was like at least another 8-9 years, I think.
I think that... Well, what happened, he served a couple of years in a penitentiary in Atlanta. And then in 1934, he got transferred to Alcatraz. And then in 1939, he got released and he went into a hospital in Baltimore. And that was when he was in late stage syphilis at that point.
So he did what, 5-6 years?
And then after they let him out, he went to his mansion in Florida.
Okay.
And his wife kind of took care of him until 1947, and he eventually died of
So he was only at a couple
cardiac
of years.
arrest.
So a couple years later he died.
Yeah, he wasn't, he didn't live very long after he got out of prison. And like I said, from people that served with him, like in prison at the time, they pretty much said that...
He was toast, huh?
Yeah. Like as soon as he came in, he didn't really... Like you said, everyone was gunning for him.
Yeah.
Because he was a big name. And he got stabbed, he got fucked with, he got just constantly, and essentially had like a nervous breakdown. And he was also suffering from symptoms of late stage syphilis all that time too. So he was mentally deteriorating this whole entire time. So it like I said, it was a very ignominious end for Al Capone. Yeah, he really didn't go out with a bang, as they say. I'm sure he probably would have been happier being like gunned down on the street. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, probably right. I feel sorry for old Al. I don't, for Big Al, actually,
because he was a horrible person. But
I think everybody was kind of a horrible person in that era. Though.
They were, but that doesn't mean I have to feel. I don't feel bad for any of them.
He was just one of the players in Chicago at the time. You know what I mean? It just. He got locked up. He had syphilis. The world changed while he was locked up. He didn't really make it out.
Yeah.
But that's how it happens. He had a good run while he was out there.
Well, like I said, shit happens.
It was better than just...
It happens to everyone.
And way he went down, at least that was better than just dying an unknown fucking person in some kind of an Italian ghetto. Back in the day,
I guess, like, people do still remember him nowadays, and they still make movies about that motherfucker. So
Yeah.
Now, after he died in 1932, what happened?
Look at this shit.
What is she doing?
Oh, I gotta show him.
Oh my goodness.
Fuck is that?
Look what she does while we are doing the show.
She just fell asleep.
She's like, what?
On her back.
What?
On her back, sleep. Is she looking?
Yeah.
No, she's not looking. She's got her eyes closed. Fell asleep. She sleeps like a person. She thinks she's a human being.
She's super weird, you guys.
Now your eyes are open? Okay, go back to sleep.
She's like, what? Why are you acting like it's all weird and shit?
Yeah, sleeping on her back with her hands up like snoring.
She's hilarious. So, after Al Capone was incarcerated, leadership of the Chicago outfit passed on to his successor, who he had actually picked. And this guy was called Frank the Enforcer Nitti.
Okay.
The Enforcer.
Frank Nitti.
Yeah. Now, he had been a bodyguard at first and then kind of like worked his way up in the bootlegging operation. Although he was actually not the guy that was making the decisions. There was actually another guy named Paul the Waiter Rica, who was actually made. Like I said, I love these fucking nicknames.
Paul the Waiter, right?
The Waiter.
All right. Was he a waiter at one time?
I guess, but like I said, it's like in some ways, like some of the fucking nicknames, like Scarface, that's a good nickname, even though Al Capone didn't like it. But others like the Waiter.
The Waiter, yeah.
That's kind of lame.
He must have been a waiter at one time.
That's what I mean. It's like, come up with something a little bit better.
I forgot about. Yeah, I don't know about this guy. I don't know about.
Fucking hell. But yeah, so he was supposedly the one that was like kind of behind the scenes, like pulling all the strings, right? So then it kind of passed into that leadership. Now, Prohibition, as I said, we all kind of realized how stupid an idea it was. So it was repealed in 1933. And at this stage, the Chicago outfit were like, well, shit, that source of income is gone.
Cut the legs right up.
So we have to go back to focusing on what we were doing before. Prostitution, labor racketeering, did a lot of that.
Holding people for ransom.
Gambling, like holding people for ransom. Like I said, like some Black Hand shit from the early 20th century.
They had to wait around until cocaine appeared before they could get back into the money, and that was fucking later.
Even then, it was kind of 70s. Like too late for them. Because like I said, it was, really, I feel like the 1920s was sort of their heyday.
That was the heyday.
I mean, they're still around now, but at a substantially diminished capacity.
It's not like it was.
It's just really not the same, and law enforcement are more attuned to that.
And they have the technology to fucking track them down.
Exactly. So it's not really the same situation as it was back then. It's like back then, it's kind of like everything was wide open. You could kind of do whatever you wanted if you had enough money. Like I said, if you had enough money, power, charisma, you could pretty much do what you wanted, which is kind of true nowadays, but less so than back then.
They had to wait till the Las Vegas era started to come back later on.
True.
To, and then they got more into that, and fucking they lived a high life for a while. There's all kinds of good movies about it. You'll see it.
Well,
Casino
because I was just gonna say, because after this stage, like after Prohibition ended, and they got more into gambling, and the waiter kind of expanded things into other markets, including like Missouri, Wisconsin, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and they kind of like took over control of a bunch of like casinos. So they kind of did that for a while. Like I said, please go see the movie Casino, because it's actually very good, and it's actually based on a true story about some shit that happened around this time.
They all have that fucking, what's his name?
Al Pacino?
No, the other guy.
Which one?
De Niro.
Oh, Robert De Niro, yeah.
Yeah, fucking De Niro plays a good gangster, but you have to understand something. He's just playing a gangster. All right, in real life, that dude's a bitch. He can play a gangster, but I'd beat that fucker's ass. He's not as... I ain't gonna talk about it. I think it's funny when you got a guy throws his weight around in real life like he's a gangster. That dude is not a gangster. He's an actor. He plays gangsters, but he acts like a gangster in real life. It's funny how these fucking mobsters haven't knocked that fucker off.
Maybe they like him, though.
They must like him. I don't understand.
Well, because the thing is, though, it's like, I feel like there's kind of like some shit where if you're a good enough actor, there's going to be like some overlap between...
He's playing a gangster. He's not a real gangster.
Right,
He's playing a gangster.
Like, I'm not an actor, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not good at, like, portraying myself as other types of people.
I think De Niro convinced himself that he's a gangster.
That's what I'm saying, but, yeah, so some people that are actors might get so, like, because he's played gangsters a lot.
Yeah, he now thinks he's a gangster.
Which, maybe that's the case.
I will beat his fucking ass.
All right, you heard it here first.
Yeah,
on
you heard it here too. I will
podcast.
Beat De Niro.
Well, even though he's like 90 years old now. Tom's gonna beat up.
I will
Tommy,
beat that dude's
the
ass.
Pizza Rossi.
Tommy
is going to beat up Robert De Niro.
You got me.
Right here on this very show. Well, know,
it's all fun and games.
I have to burst your fucking balloon at some point.
It's all fun and games. I was just playing.
Because all you do is like. You're always like talking and stuff, and
it's all fun and games.
I just have to like.
It's all fun and
let
games.
Some air out
I love De Niro's work in the gangster movies. I do.
I do as well.
Yeah, he does a great job. He did a great job, fucking in the gangster.
If you can pretend to be something and convince me that you're that something,
right?
Then all right.
I just seen him a couple times in public, fucking waxing, showing up like he's really a gangster.
Although maybe his publicist told him to do that.
Go out there and fucking pretend like you're a gangster.
Like he's like, really? I don't really want to do it. And they're like, no, do it.
Fucking De Niro. Oh, man.
He's kind of method, though, isn't he?
Yeah, I think
a lot of actors of that era are. Yeah. They're very method.
Yeah.
Which, I don't... If you guys are young, that means, like, basically you're
just,
like, living...
You live the fucking role.
While you're doing the role, you're kind of, like, living the role, sure. Right. So I feel like he's kind of from that school of actors, as a lot of actors were at that time.
I'll get his mind right, though, about who's a gangster and who isn't, though.
You're going to beat up a 90-year-old man.
That was back in the day. I'm talking about back in the day.
He's not 90.
He's not 90. That bitch is not 90. Okay.
Although, probably pretty close, right?
He's in his 70s.
Still, though.
Yeah.
Dude, that's like so much older than you. Don't be like that.
Yeah.
Don't beat up old people.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I'm just drunk talking. Don't take it seriously. This is just part of the show.
Okay, I'm just telling you.
I'll tell you what.
What?
The Untouchables was a good gangster movie.
It really was. I liked it very much. Casino is a very
Casino was good.
Movie.
The masterpiece of all gangster movies would probably be The Godfather 1 and 2.
Obviously.
I'm going to say that.
3, not so much.
But I have a soft spot in my heart for Goodfellas.
Everyone does. Goodfellas was a good movie.
Yeah, and I think...
Who doesn't like Goodfellas?
And I think what's his name? Little Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
Joe Pesci.
He made that fucking movie.
In my mind, actually, kinda. That's the way the gangsters were. They were more like Joe Pesci.
I do kind of feel like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the most accurate.
You're not talking about fucking physical supermen.
Depiction.
They're Italian guys who are fucking wily, of fucking kind of average size and build, who were fucking mean and ruthless, but probably funny. Because everything I've ever read or heard of fucking gangsters and gangsters that I've fucking seen in the Boston area, they were real gangsters. They were fucking funny. Like, okay, well, when I lived in Boston, I lived in Winter Hill. And fucking, I saw the Winter Hill gang.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're one of their little, I ain't gonna say nothing. I guess. That was fucking Whitey Bulger and all those guys. I ain't gonna say nothing. But
that guy just died, though. But
he's dead, but he's got guys running around. And
also, I feel like he murdered some people that he didn't get caught for.
Yeah. But I've seen those guys on several occasions.
That's all I'm saying.
I've seen those guys on several occasions. They had some buildings around where I lived.
Yeah.
And I'd see him in the middle of the night fucking pulling security and blocking off roads to fucking, load and unload stuff. I ain't gonna say anymore.
Do whatever they were doing.
Yeah, and fucking I said, what's up, man? How you doing? What's your name? My name's Tom, man. Where you live? I said, I live right here in this building. Man, don't lie to me. And I said, no, I do. He said, let me see your ID. That's what you live there? Okay, all right, go ahead and go on. Well, here's the funny thing about looking.
You could have been rubbed out by Whitey
Bulger.
Nah. Holy crap!
The funny thing about the Winter Hill gang is that when you looked at them, to me they looked like they were cosplaying as gangsters. I mean, they dressed like that.
Well,
that was
they
back
had
in
guns,
the 90s.
And guns will kill anyone.
Fucking, I had guns too, though. But that was
right. But guns will kill anyone, depending on. It doesn't matter what you're dressed like.
I saw them, and they looked at me, and I looked at them, and I'm like, "This is gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right." I wasn't gonna fuck with them.
Dude, you could have... Seriously, if things had gone differently, you could have got murdered by Whitey Bulger, and I would be writing about you in one of my books.
It wasn't Whitey. I've seen pictures of Whitey.
Because
I know what he looks like.
Because he might have killed this one woman that was found on fucking...
Yeah.
You know
it wasn't Whitey, though. It was somebody that worked with him. I didn't see Whitey. I didn't see him. It was... the rest of the gang. I saw him on...
He just died, though, so
I saw him on 3 different occasions living on Winter Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could show you right on fucking... I could show you where they were. I ain't gonna say no more.
I was gonna say, you're gonna be a big deal. Somebody's like, I'm gonna get killed too, motherfucker. Don't do this shit.
I think those guys are all gone now. I'm not really worried about...
He's making the mob angry.
They ought to actually probably be afraid of me.
So you guys out there, if something bad happens to us, if we don't post the show in a couple weeks, you know what happened.
That case is over with. But
fucking blabbed.
That case is over with. But I did see them. I know the buildings that they owned, or at least the one that was near my house.
Yeah.
Or it wasn't a house. It was an apartment. It's right there on fucking...
That's pretty scary.
They're all gone now, though. Yeah.
I hope.
But look, I didn't know who they were at the time. I had heard of the Winter Hill gang.
Yeah.
And I saw them, and then I was like, this must be who it is that they're talking about. So I just kind of cooperated. I was coming back from the club. Coming back from fucking Man Race.
You don't want any fucking trouble, man.
Yeah,
you're wearing all your fetish gear. You're like,
yeah, exactly. I'm fucking dressed up. I look like Dave Vanian and shit.
Don't fucking shoot me. And
I see a guy who looks like he's cosplaying like a gangster, and there's gangsters blocking off the entire road. And I'm going, oh, that place? Yeah. No wonder it's never open.
So you're gonna murder another dude? Okay.
Yeah, no wonder that's never open. Okay.
Nothing to do with me.
Yeah, nothing to do with me. Where you going? I'm going home. What's your name? Yes, I told him my name, and I says, don't lie to me. And I said, no, all right. He says, let me see ID. I showed him my ID. And he goes, okay, man, go ahead and go on. Go ahead and go on.
Good thing you didn't say nothing.
I didn't say nothing. That was a long time ago.
I wouldn't have either.
It was a long time ago.
Like I said, none
I was scared of them dudes. I mean, you know what I mean? I was just coming out of the army. I was packing too.
Well, and the thing is, it's like if you're a gangster and you want to kill some other gangster over your little beef, that's your deal, man.
He was respectful. He was respectful.
I don't
he was respectful. I was respectful. I knew what it was.
Don't fucking touch my tits or nothing. And
I knew
what
I was looking. I was by myself.
Just stay over there. Just stay over there, and I will go in my house, and I will not.
Go ahead and shut this down before you get me in trouble, Jenny. Before these kids
I know they're gonna come and get you. But like I said, so
at this time in history, those dudes are all fucking anxious. They should be worried about me.
They're all older than you.
Those dudes are all anxious.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, after Prohibition, that was kind of their heyday. And honestly, like after the 1940s, about 1943, there was like a huge scandal with like where a lot of the gangsters in Chicago had not even attempted, they did do it. They infiltrated a lot of the unions in Hollywood and were like influencing like, Hollywood film and the studio system and everything like that. So eventually they got kicked out. When John F. Kennedy came in, he kind of like cracked down on that whole shit, which
they hated that shit. And I'm like, I'm not going to talk about Carlos Marcellos yet, okay? Okay, I'm going to talk about Carlos Marcellos.
I figured.
The Italians were always pissed at why they couldn't get the presidency, and the fucking and the Irish mob could, because Kennedy was descendants of Irish mob. They had some other kind of mob that was happening in New Orleans. All right, I'm going to talk about Carlos Marcellos. Carlos Marcellos was a dude that was kind of hooked up with Edwin Edwards, who ended up being the governor of New Orleans eventually. Well, Marcellos was linked in with a guy who had alopecia. He was kind of a weird motherfucker from the CIA who was involved with the Free Cuba movement with the CIA. Okay? Now, in this Free Cuban movement was a dude named Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, I was just going to talk
about And it looks like Lee Harvey Oswald killed Kennedy because Carlos Marcellos and this ex-CIA dude fucking wanted that shit was done under a grudge match of why could the Irish get the presidency and the Italians couldn't?
Yeah.
But I'm going to leave it at that. I didn't say that. I wasn't here. You didn't see me.
No, I'm just saying there's
a good chance that the fucking Italian mob killed...
There is a train of thought that says that perhaps the assassinations of John F. Kennedy and Robert Kennedy are tied in with the mafia, and that there was some mafia connection there with the Italian mob essentially assassinating them because they had to do with the Irish mob.
Great book you need to read called Mafia Kingfish. It's about Carlos Marcellos.
So I'm not saying I don't know one way or the other.
If you ask me, I read the book. If you ask me, JFK was killed under the orders of an Italian mafia kingpin.
I mean, it's a possibility.
Carlos Marcellos.
Like I said,
with the help of the CIA.
Yeah,
all right, and with the help of the CIA, because some other shit that happened with the Bay of Pigs and the failed Cuba.
Yeah, there was a whole.
All right.
There was a whole. That's a whole other show.
Deep state action.
That's a whole other show.
Deep state action.
Because there was a whole other association with attempts to kill Fidel Castro. Right, there was a whole other mob thing with that.
Italian mob, Whitey Bulger and the fucking Winter Hill gang, that all links up to the deep state. This Mueller investigation going on now. The guy who Mueller knew Whitey Bulger. There was some shit that went on with that. That's all you didn't hear it from me. I didn't say this on the show. I ain't talk about any more about it. I'm not going to talk any more about it.
He's going to get bumped out.
I ain't going to get rubbed out.
Well, that's the thing, though. You keep saying...
I'm not the only one to say this. I'm not the only one to says this shit. There's other people that say this. Mafia has always had a connection with the intelligence agencies and certain aspects of the United States government going back to World War II, with overthrowing Mussolini and needing gangsters to help form a new government after the fucking Mussolini was overthrown. This shit goes way back.
But yeah, like I said,
MK Ultra shit and LSD and throwing motherfuckers out of windows.
Like I said, this is like a whole other show.
This is
trying to focus on.
Right,
I'm just saying that there are some.
I'm just trying to make a show.
Yeah, there are
I'm trying
some
to make a show. I got no proof of this. I can't go in front of a fucking court of law.
that say,
there's no reason to rub me out because I got no evidence. This is all stuff in the... You know what I'm talking about? I'm just trying to cover my ass.
This is going on.
Okay. I don't know anything. I didn't say this.
None
I
of
wasn't
us
here.
don't. Like I said, I just got this shit from like Wikipedia biography page. I just like, you know what I mean?
I never said any of this. I was not here.
I'm just saying there's some that believe
There's some people
that the assassination of JFK, the assassination of Robert Kennedy was tied in with mafia involvement. It's a possibility, sure. I don't know. There was some fishy shit about that. I don't know one way or the other. Now, after that happened, because of the whole kind of crackdown that happened in the wake of that, there has been, obviously, the mob. The Chicago outfit still exists, but to a much lesser extent than in the past. Particularly after the whole, like, exposure of their, like, crackdown. Like, you know, their infiltration of unions in Hollywood. They kind of got kicked out of that in the 1940s.
I'm not going to say anything about these guys because I wasn't here. I didn't see any of this. But come on. There was a big difference between the age of the old mob and then what happened later with cocaine and the fucking Colombian and Mexican drug cartels. The ruthlessness of the Colombian and the Mexican drug cartels, if you ask me, kind of fucking pushed the Italians out of business. Partially because the Italians had been in the United States for many generations by this point.
Yeah.
And they had better options by the time all this was going on. A lot of the children and grandchildren of these mobsters, they went to fucking college and they got other kind of jobs.
They had normal lives, like a normal person.
They went straight. Okay, so they just... Times changed.
Yeah.
That's a good way to...
It's interesting to say because...
The Italians moved up in the world.
Well, it's interesting because I feel like the public perception is that the height of the Italian mob... You know, heyday was the 1920s, like with Al Capone and all the shootouts and stuff like that. But the actual heyday was actually in the 1960s.
60s and 70s.
When, you know, when people had kind of like not really, had kind of like lost, there wasn't like this whole like romantic like culture around them. That was when they were like infiltrating all the unions and they were infiltrating all the casinos and they were doing all this kind of shit. So that was when they were kind of at the height of their power. But like I said, after the whole, you know, assassination of JFK and the whole, like, law enforcement crackdown against them, like, when law enforcement became powerful enough to fight back against what they were trying to do, then their influence began to dwindle. Yeah. And even though they are still around, as far as I know, to this date, their power is significantly diminished at this point. So I feel like... You know, in all the movies and shit like that, it's kind of like, we still romanticize the 1920s shit. They even did like a fucking musical about it.
There were times when there were certain mafia families that were reduced to running around, cutting off the tops of fucking parking meters for money. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's that bad anymore, but...
That's pretty sad, though.
Yeah. And then, you know, as time progressed, then you had guys kind of like the fucking Iceman Kuklinski running around doing shit. That was mostly 70s. And 80s. Then there was things that happened in Detroit during the time that I was in the Detroit era with fucking what's his name, Gotti, John Gotti and all those guys.
Teflon Don.
Yeah, Gotti was kind of like the JFK of all gangsters. You know, he shows up into the gangster scene, makes everybody feel important. Fucking, he becomes kind of like I don't say he weasels his way into the mafia. He actually just kind of fucking... He loves his way into it. You know what I'm talking about? He just shows up and made a gangster feel so important. Next thing you know, he's a Don.
Yeah.
Because he made these gangsters feel important. And then he starts doing shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, Gotti was an interesting character, too. But,
like I said, we should do
totally self-made man, yeah.
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 But as I said...
This is stuff that's happening in bars and casinos, in bars and... clubs. This is where this all starts. These are social fucking movements, really. They just happen to be criminal social movements, but yeah.
Well, like I said, it's, you know, it's much better for your criminal enterprise if you have a lot of like friends and supporters around you who like you.
All pure charisma.
Yeah, like if you're a dick, no one's gonna like, if something goes bad, no one's gonna like stand up for you. Everyone's gonna like, yeah, fucking behead that motherfucker. I hate that dude.
Gotti's strength was that he was this guy who was tall and good looking and dressed well and came out of nowhere and just showed up to the scene and made gangsters feel important again. Yeah. And fucking got them all together and became their warrior king, really, you know? And he rewrote the rules. He kind of revived the Italian mafia in Detroit for a while. You know, it didn't last forever, but...
Yeah.
You know.
And as I said, I mean, even in 2005, the Department of Justice, they started Operation Family Secrets.
I don't know.
And that ended up indicting 14 members of the Chicago outfit.
Okay.
And authorities under RICO laws.
Okay.
So that was kind of like a huge thing that sort of sucked the air out of that shit right there.
Yeah.
So as far as I know, as of 2007, the official size of the Chicago outfit is said to only comprise 28 official members.
Oh yeah, that's a small crew.
And about another 100 like kind of fringe type of people.
Which means that the fucking Hells Angels is huge compared to them.
That's what I mean. So their influence has significantly diminished since law enforcement has kind of caught up with them and like knows what they're up to. And there are laws like made that will indict them for particular things. Yeah. They've also been infiltrated by federal agents and whatnot. So...
Moral of the story is right now, if you want to be anything like a gangster, you probably just want to be a motorcycle gang. In a motorcycle gang. The fucking...
If that's your aspiration in life, which...
The Mongols or in some of the other
don't
ones.
rape or kill anybody or, you know, rob
they have a lot of money. From my understanding, they have a lot of money.
Yeah, so, you know, if you're looking to get into that kind of shit.
Yeah, if you're looking to get into that. If you're looking to get into that
as a pro tip.
Join a motorcycle gang. They got more money right now.
Like I said, don't be like raping and killing or anything like that indiscriminately. Just, you know, pro tip. All right, so let's wrap up this...
Wrap it up, Jen.
Rambling, drunken episode, like every single other episode.
Yeah, they're all rambling
and drunken. They are, kind of. Episode 152 about Al Capone and the Chicago outfit, gangsters in general. We all love that shit. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember, if you like the show, like, share, subscribe on all your social media. If you would like to financially support the show, we would much appreciate it. You can go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/13o'clockpodcast, or you can go to our blog, 13o'clockpodcast.wordpress.com, and there's a little button in the sidebar where you can go to a PayPal account and give a PayPal donation, a one-time donation if you don't like Patreon for whatever reason. That would also be much appreciated. Remember, our regular episodes, just like this one, come out every Tuesday, Monday if you're a patron. Also, we have movie retrospectives, usually old movies, usually horror or sci-fi. That comes out every Friday or Thursday if you're a patron. And we also have 13 o'clock matinee, 2 or 3 new movies in the theater, which comes out every Sunday or Saturday if you're a patron. So check those out if you haven't already. And we will see you next time. Bye.